YouTube, so please call in all your YouTube friends. Please remember to subscribe to both our YouTube and Facebook pages at the OneMic Show, and then follow us on Instagram at OneMic Show. We're also taking live calls tonight at 202-683-4570. Press star 5 to speak. My number again is 202-683-4570. Press star 5 to speak. Please call in that number and ask all the questions you want to have answers to. Now, if you've ever asked yourself, how do I start over after 40? Whether rebuilding your health, whether rebuilding your finances or your confidence, tonight's conversation is exactly for you. Our guest, JANE MUKAMI, a Harvard-certified award-winning weight loss coach, lived that question for a long time and mastered the comeback. From losing it all physically, emotionally, and financially, to turning her passion into a 7-figure business. She's proof that it's never too late to rewrite your story. She'll share how to block fake coaches, stay consistent when motivation fades, and build a life that truly fits who you are. So start dropping your comments below and let us know what town, what city, what state you're tuned in from. Again, the number is 202-683-4570. Press star 5 to speak. We expect a fire show tonight. Na bila kusahau, tumekuwa tukipokea mziki wetu toka DJ wetu machachari, mleta habari DJ Omosh Fire, na tutadunda kule viwanjani na Mika Ojezeke nambari 7 mgongoni akituletea habari za michezo. Na moja kwa moja toka Kilimanjaro Studios ni mimi mtangazaji na mwanahabari wako mpendwa Ali Badawi. Kwetu wananiita mteule na wengine mniite mjukuu wa Masai, because I'm Kenyan by blood, American by design, Masai by choice. Sichagui, sikagui, nasibagui. Karibuni.
Now, let's talk politics.
Now, later this hour, we'll be talking to JANE MUKAMI, Harvard-certified award-winning weight loss coach and an international best-selling author. She's here to break down how to rebuild your body, your bank account, and mindset after the age of 40, and what it really takes to turn pain into purpose. JANE will also share her journey on how she built a 7-figure coaching business, and her recent story on how she lost $13,000 in a Kenyan bank. So I want you to stay tuned. This is going to be a very fire episode, and I can see some people already tuned in here. I can see Stephen Batty all the way from Dallas, Texas, tuned in the building. I can see Esther Mulusa. Esther Mulusa, I hope you're doing better this week. All the way, she's saying top fan from the dirty South, Greensboro, North Carolina.
Dirty.
Trying to figure out if the topic is my cup of tea. I want to promise you, Esther Mulusa, this is one episode you will not regret. There's no politics today, but the value that you're going to get in this episode will be life-changing. So please, please, please stay tuned. And I can see where Shekendi Rangu is tuned in. We never know where she's tuned in. We always assume she's tuned in from San Antonio, Texas, but she always surprises us. Please let us know where you're tuned in from.
Probably Kathmandu.
Yes, we don't know where she's tuned in from, but let's wait for the surprise to know where she'll be, where she's going to be tuning in from. And all the people on YouTube, I want to welcome you. Please let us know where you're tuned in from, city, state, country, whether you're at home, whether you're a truck driver, you're on the road. Please let us know. And the number to call is 202-683-4570. Press star 5 to speak. So we're still waiting for Asheke to let us know where she's tuned in from before we go ahead and get started. And this week, you know, like a lot has been happening. So tonight we're gonna go to JANE MUKAMI shortly. But before we get there, we're going to take a moment to focus on a deeply troubling development, and that's the kidnapping of 2 young Kenyan men, Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo in Uganda. I'm sure some of you have already seen this on the news. These guys are not strangers. They're part of our broader East African family, and they've been activists during the Gen Z revolution, and they've been doing a lot. Reports say they were abducted under unclear circumstances, and days later, their whereabouts remain unknown. Now, in solidarity with their families and in the spirit of justice, we're dedicating just a few minutes before we get to JANE MUKAMI, you know, like, so stay tuned. I know a lot of people are tuned in to get to hear JANE MUKAMI, but we want to amplify this story to make sure their names are not buried under silence. Now, joining us is Benta Ochieng, who's a sister to Nicholas Oyo, one of the people who's abducted. There's 2 people abducted, Bob Njagi and and Nicholas Oyo. Most of you are familiar with Bob Njagi, but Nicholas Oyo, they were together when they were attending a campaign rally for Bobby Wine. Some of you already know Bobby Wine. Bobby Wine has been in Kilimanjaro Studios before. Yes. And Benta Ochieng will be sharing what they know so far, the agony of waiting for answers, and most importantly, how the diaspora community can help. And she's tuned in from Indianapolis. So she's one of us. She lives in Indianapolis, Indiana. So karibu sana, Benta. Can you hear us, Benta?
I can. Thank you. Thank you. I can hear you.
All right. Thank you so much for being here on short notice. And we're very sorry with what's happening. We can't even begin imagining what you're going through. But maybe just very briefly, walk us through what happened. When did Bob and Nicholas disappear? And what have you learned since? Benta.
Thank you for inviting me to this show. And thank you for the greater diaspora community. All this transpired on Wednesday, 1st of October. They say it was at 3 o'clock that they were abducted, but according to our family, I was in class at that time at around 2:30. In Kenya, it was around 7 o'clock when we learned about that information. Unfortunately, from the headline news, it was the top of the news. And the person who got the news was my mom. She had just prepared a meal. She was about to have it. She just put it down and sat down to watch the 7 o'clock news. And it was the top story. She just threw the food. Until today, that meal, that food, that plate is in the fridge. I was in class. The teacher had asked me to show them some classwork because I'm taking a short course apart from working. So when I was showing my paper to the teacher, that message came. So me and my professor got to see that message, and she told me, "Young girl, just go and call your mom right now. Like, stop everything and just go." So I went out, and the teacher made sure one of the girls followed me because she told them, "We've just read the brother has been abducted." The mom, somebody just sent a message. I think it's the mom, and so she followed me. She took me straight to the chapel because I was really in shock. So when I called my brother. I forgot. I forgot that I have other siblings. I forgot everybody's name. I forgot everyone. And so I called my brother. I called my cousin who's a lawyer because I knew she knows a few people. She knows LSK. I remember Gen Z, you know, how LSK was very, very vocal. So that's what I did. I just called them, and she started working immediately to try and see what's going on. Yeah.
Okay, and we're really sorry because we know how distressing this can be, and unfortunately, these stories have started becoming so normal, and that's why we want to amplify this today. For those who are tuned in, this is just a brief interlude before JANE MUKAMI comes in shortly because of this urgent situation we have where we have Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo who were abducted in Uganda, and of course we have the sister here, Benta Ochieng from Indianapolis, talking to us. Now, Benta, please tell us, maybe have the Ugandan or Kenyan authorities offered any credible updates or any cooperation on where Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo could presently be? Benta.
Not a word from Uganda. The only thing they did is just have their weekly police briefing. Not even anybody up there was able to address, no one except the police post weekly meeting. And they say they do not know these people. They have no idea if there's any type of case, which is very strange because that morning is when they had filed a case of habeas corpus in court. And for them to say that, Nicholas and Bob had entered that country legally, and then they end up saying that they don't know anything about them. On our side, my brother went to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs contacted the Embassy of Uganda. The PS is saying they're in communication, but they have not gotten back to us to let us know what is going on. I saw there's a letter circulating from which we also received. There's a letter circulating from the embassy that wrote to Uganda, but the Ugandan side, in response, that's what they sent a policeman as head of police to just say they don't know anything.
Okay, so lack of clarity, and we don't know where they are. And again, we know this is very tough for you, and we really appreciate you being here. Now, many of us here in diaspora watching, many people feel helpless. This has been happening for a long time, and many feel helpless watching this unfold. What can you tell maybe those who are tuned in tonight, what they need to do from wherever they are in order to help with this situation? Anybody who's concerned, they're asking us, what can we do to help this situation? Benta.
Actually, there's a lot that they can do for us because social media is very powerful. I'm saying that because through Citizen TV, we found out the information through them sharing one of my posts when I was feeling distraught one of the days. And I wrote a letter to my brother Nicholas on my page, and that's what they put it. And thank God it was on the headlines. We got to get in touch, or they reached out with the activists who are filing the court case for habeas corpus. So you see, we wouldn't have contacted them. And you guys also the same thing. So social media is very, very important. So I would urge everyone in the diaspora community to share this as much as they can. Just share the story because it's creating awareness. Like right now, there's a petition going on Change.org, and it says they want a response from United Nations Office, African Commission of Human Rights, Ugandan police to respond, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Uganda, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Kenya to respond to that. So if you can get in there to Change.org and just read the whole story for yourself, get to understand what is going on. It's all in there, and please help us with those signatures as much as you can, because it's helping. Actually, the Change.org has attracted attention of one of UN's rapporteur. She's a special rapporteur. Her name is Mary Lawalor. So she tweeted something, and that is very important to us because we have signed up. We're putting up a petition and to help us with this, with what is going on with the issue. So I'm asking the diaspora community, please share, please speak up for us. Help us with your voice. We really need you.
Okay. Now, for people who are planning to maybe post this on social media, I know there are people who are planning to visit different Ugandan embassies across the world. I know there's an effort going on here in DC. It's not been finalized. Is there like any special hashtags or any particular phrases that you think can be used to propel and to push this on top of social media timelines? Benta.
Yes. So far, the hashtag that has been going on X, which everybody seems to be acquiring it, is hashtag free Nicholas Oyo, hashtag free Bob Jaggi, and another one where they're together is hashtag free Nicholas Oyo and Bob Jaggi.
Yeah, and feel free, like once you're done, to go into the comment section of both. I send you the links of both the Facebook and YouTube stream. Feel free to type it in the comments and also share the link of the change.org so the people who are tuned in can go and contribute and tag and add on to the hashtag. And of course, for those who are just joining us, we are going to be talking to JANE MUKAMI shortly, but we have Benta Ochieng. She's a sister to Nicholas Oyo, one of the two Kenyans who've been abducted in Uganda together with Bob Njagi. And we're just doing this special interlude because this has become very problematic and something needs to happen, and it's become so normalized, unfortunately. Now, real quick before we let you go, Benta, if maybe President Museveni or the Ugandan authorities were listening right now, what would you want to tell them, Benta?
I would tell the president, you're a dad. You have children. You are a brother. Nicholas and Bob are dads. Nicholas' son is about to sit for the exams and he just found out about this. It's very hard. It's very hard for us. It's very hard for the family right now. Consider yourself in our position. Nicholas is a brother. He's a good citizen. He has done a lot, actually. He was part of, in 2022, he was part of the petition that filed for the disadvantaged independent candidate, and they won that. So he's needed in our country. Let him go. Let him come back to Kenya and do good.
Okay, all right, sawa. And then the last thing before we let you go, Benta, what's your appeal to Kenya's leadership? Do you feel they've done enough?
Well, they started, but it's slackering. It's slow. It stopped. There's no response. They're not doing enough.
Okay.
Time is moving so fast. Days are moving so fast, and nothing.
Okay, all right. Asante sana, Benta.
Pole sana.
All our, our best wishes, our prayers and everything.
Yeah, thank you.
And we know this is very difficult for your family.
Yeah.
So we will try to amplify this as much as we can. And I'm very hopeful that if this keeps going loud, they will not be able to do what they're trying to do. So asante sana. And, stay in touch with us. Please go to the comment section and share the links of all those different places where you want Kenyans in the diaspora to go to help out in this process. So thank you so much. All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Of course. Yeah.
Pamoja.
That was Benta Ochieng, sister to Nicholas Oyo, one of the Kenyans who was abducted together with Bob Njagi in Uganda. And this was just a special interlude we're doing before we start talking to JANE MUKAMI because of all the crazy things that have been happening and the way this thing has been normalized. Uno Mike, you had something you wanted to add.
Here's the irony.
Mm-hmm.
The irony is, at the same time, Bob and Oyo are campaigning for Bobby Wine.
For Bobby Wine.
Murkomen was campaigning for
Museveni in the same country.
In the same country.
Yeah.
And I'm finding it hard to digest that. I just don't get it.
This is becoming very problematic.
As Gerald Ochieng says over here, these abduction occurrences are frustrating and disturbing.
Very disturbing.
But at some point, the back, like, Omosh.
It's become the norm for things like this to happen. And it's the voice or the outcry of those who are on the outside, like us. We make enough noise, and then hopefully they do something, and actually in this particular case release them. To us, that's the best outcome. That's what we want for them to do that, right? Now moving forward, how are these things prevented? Even in Kenya,
okay,
we have it ongoing. So there's so much that can be said behind all of those things. But at this point, all we want is for both Bob and Nicholas to go home.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. So that was a special interlude. And I know most people were tuned in to see JANE MUKAMI. JANE MUKAMI is, is with us. She's going to be joining us shortly. But we want you to make sure that you amplify this message and make sure, it goes up, because the louder it is, the less likely it is for them to do anything. Boniface, I strongly believe, is with us today because that message was amplified, because we don't know exactly what they were going to do to Boniface Mwangi when he got abducted in Tanzania. East Africa is becoming a hotbed of abductions, and I can see here Gerald is saying these abduction occurrences are frustrating, disturbing. And Stephen Batty from Texas says, I'm so sorry to hear that. This is really disturbing, especially the fact that they were there legally and were abducted. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs should be searching for them as a number one case. And then Stephen Batifather says Kenya allowed Besigye to be extradited from Kenya. It's so sad. So East Africa is becoming a hotbed of this. So it is very sad that we're getting this. So again, Benta, thank you so much. We appreciate, and we shall spread this message. Now on back to today's programming, because I know a lot of people were waiting for JANE MUKAMI. But before that, we know that we live in a world where everyone seems to have a coach online, from fitness to mindset coaches to lifestyle and even sex coaches. Few of these coaches, however, leave the journey they're constantly selling. But one exception to that is our guest tonight, Miss JANE MUKAMI. Now, Jane is a Harvard-certified award-winning weight loss coach and an international best-selling author. She's the creator of the Push Weight Loss Method and passionate about helping women become unstoppable. She's been coaching how to turbocharge business ideas through social media. All this, however, never came easy. She went through miserable periods of heartbreak, personal loss, and rapid weight gain. But despite all the setbacks, she managed to reclaim her confidence, turning her struggle into a thriving global brand. Not that was only the beginning. If that was only the beginning, JANE MUKAMI went from fitness to teaching thousands how to turn their knowledge into income with no overhead, no investors, and no excuses. One of the students, Miss Tabitha Njeri, said, I went into her class clueless and came out a career coach. Within a year, I was earning 6 figures. Now, recently, when everything seemed to be going perfect, JANE MUKAMI woke up to over 1.6 million Kenyan shillings wiped out from a Kenyan bank account overnight. She'll later tell us what came out of that experience. Today, she calls herself officially retired at the age of 46, financially free, mentally strong, and living life entirely on her own terms. So the big question tonight is, how did JANE MUKAMI crack the code of transforming pain into power, fitness into fortune, and business success into freedom? What lessons can every diasporans watching tonight learn and apply from her journey about body, business, and mindset? Now, to help us unpack all this tonight, from weight loss to wealth creation, and from financial scams to early retirement, ladies and gents, please drop your favorite emoji in the comment section and join me in welcoming the fearless, the disciplined, and the no-nonsense coach herself, Miss JANE MUKAMI. Jane, karibu sana to the OneMic Show. It's been more than 2 years and 30 minutes in waiting. How do you feel finally being here?
Wow.
How does it feel finally being here?
Oh, it feels amazing. I'm so happy that you kept track of that, ticker. It's been 2 years.
And 30 minutes.
Days?
And 30 minutes.
From what you were told was like 4 years, but you are not counting Omosh.
Yeah.
Maybe they started 2 years ago. Then now the 30 minutes was Upper Kwa Show.
But it was 4 years, and then we were notified 2 years after
later.
the 4 years.
Yes.
And then,
that's why I asked. We have a 4 year and 30 minutes.
30
count,
minutes.
And his is 2
Yeah.
years.
He's 2 years.
That's
How?
Yeah, it's 2 years. So great to have you, Jane, here. Now, before we get started, there's one exclusive event you have in October. I want us to pitch it at the beginning before we get started. What's happening this October? Is it this October or is it next year October? Because you have a very packed calendar.
Well, it's this October, and I'm not pitching, Ali. I don't pitch, okay? I simply share what I'm doing, and if anyone is compelled to join, to be a part of, then they're invited to come in.
Okay.
So if you want us to get started there, then I am hosting let me call it a virtual session, of course. It's going to be a workshop, and this workshop is for coaches. You could be a coach in any industry, finance, relationships, real estate. It doesn't matter what industry you're coaching in, but if you're interested in cracking the code when it comes to social media, just as I have, then this workshop is for you to attend. And I'll be making it very interactive. We'll actually be doing work. That's why it's not a masterclass, it's a workshop. But my goal is to help a lot of coaches realize that there's a lot of magic and a lot of money moving around because of social media, but only those of you who understand how to make it work will get to where, for example, I've gotten. That's what I'm doing. And for you to be a part of this, you have to join the wait list. Find me on IG, Facebook. You'll find posts about it. join the wait list, and the information will be shared with you later next week.
Okay, so for those who want to be on the wait list, you can just start right now by typing the word wait list in the comment section. So the details are not out, but if you type wait list, you're going to get the details beforehand. Whether you're on Facebook, on YouTube, or wherever you tuned in from, type waitlist in the comments and you will be part of this exclusive event, limited slots. So you'll be among the first ones to be notified and to join. Now, again, before we get started again, I want us to lay the ground. And looking back at everything you've been through, Jane, from your personal transformation to what's now financial independence, officially retired at the age of 46, where would you say your transformation truly began? At what point would you say this was actually my turning point, Jane Mukami?
Wow. I think turning points are many, but to keep it very narrow on what you're talking about, the business, financial freedom, I would say the thing or the domino that first fell for everything to come in place was divorce. That was the first domino, because had I not gotten divorced, would I have gone into fitness? I was getting into fitness and trying to lose weight as a result of feeling not good about myself, having lost a lot of confidence. I was using weight loss as a tool to try and climb out the hole of, Woishe, I'm divorced, I'm only 28, So as much as it might not be conventional to say something like, you know what, that divorce kind of changed the trajectory of my life for the better, in all honesty, that's how I feel. Because let's speculate for a moment. What if I never got divorced? What if I ended up gaining more love weight, popped a few babies?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still married.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still working a corporate job. I have a husband. What would my life look like?
Happily ever after.
I don't know.
You'd be making chapos and inviting us.
Yeah, I cannot even, my brain cannot even fathom what that life would look like, right? So it had to be the domino of, I'm being physically abused, I need to leave, I've left, oh crap, I'm eating my feelings, I've gained weight, I need to do something because no one's gonna want me looking like this. I need to do something.
Okay.
That was the beginning, which back then I didn't understand was laying the foundation for what's become the last 17 years of my life.
So the last 17 years, so you're talking about 2009, 2008, 2000, around that time.
I got divorced in 2008.
Wow. Okay. Wow. So you're only 46, divorced in 2000. Oh my goodness.
How long are you married?
Ali, you are not supposed to reveal the age. Where ni mtu wapi?
No,
Yeah,
Jane,
we know, but sasa anyway, go on.
Jane has always revealed her age, so this is public information. It's not classified.
It's a woman thing, Buana. Just move on, Buana.
Yeah, and DJ Moshfire, as we get started today, maybe talk to the audience too. What are your expectations tonight? There's always a question because Jane has gone beyond, weight loss and transformation to now advising, entrepreneurs on how to turbocharge the businesses using social media. There's a question of, especially for people who are thinking of, am I going to make that move from career into entrepreneurship? There's always a lot of fear, and there's always a question of, I have no money, hakuna mbesha, someone needs $100,000 to start this idea, or $50,000, as you talk to the audience, what exactly do you expect, especially in that realm of where most of us think that we need a lot of money to get started?
Jane, welcome to the show. Karibu. Thanks for making time out of your busy schedule to come on to the show. So for me, my expectations are that by the time we leave this place, Ali will have a formula of how this show itakuwa kule Breakfast Club. Kwa sababu now na social media ufiki to join.
Yes.
That's one.
Uh-huh.
Then two, zile do zilipotea kwa bank. atuambie vile sisi pia sisi zile ndo tumepoteza Kenya tunaweza pata.
Ama tuambie pia how we can have such money in the bank account so that we can one day talk about it getting lost.
That is 3.
That's 3.
That's 3.
That's
Yeah.
3.
Because see watu wengi wako na 13k sitting in a Kenyan bank account.
1 point nini?
1.6 million.
Kwanza na alijitoa na akasema
Yeah.
Jane, see me after the show.
Forget about an American bank account. That was
Yes.
sitting in a Kenyan bank account. So you can only imagine.
So si sasa si me unajua you and I all we need to do is get our airfare to
Yeah.
Kenya. Tukiland hivi.
Yeah.
Direct to Jane's account.
Okay.
Atambia ule mse.
Okay.
She'll just say I have 2 chaps in the lobby.
Aya, sawa. That's DJ Omoshfire. You know, like karibu sana. Number to call is 202-683-4570 *5 to speak. I don't know that Mika is already tuned in.
Mika is inside.
Yeah, so Mika, you know, like we're going to go to Mika. Now, Mika, the other thing that we're going to be talking about also tonight is a bit of weight loss, you know, like transformation, you know, like your testament to transformation. You also moved from 0 to 100 within a very short period of time. But then, Mika, there's these images that people get before, after, overnight transformations, you know, that people have. So people sometimes expect results quickly. What is your expectation tonight, Mika, of what you want to hear from Jane Mukami about transformation, you yourself having gone through that? Mika.
Thank you, Ali, and thank you, Jane, for coming and gracing us with your presence. So for me, my expectations actually today,
We're going to send you...
Ashaanza kuandika vitu.
Yes, ashaingia kwa waitlist huyo hapo. And then
okay.
Now Jane, you've publicly talked about 2 major breaking points in your life. Your divorce back in 2008 and the loss of your younger brother to suicide back in 2017. Very tragic. Many people never share such stories of tragedy in public, and many never bounce back. So before we go to know how you always bounce back from adversity, please share with us your thought process on why you're such an open book, and if there's a secret in it that helps in the bouncing back process that most people maybe don't know. Jane Mukami.
That's a tough question. I think the first question is, why am I an open book?
Yes.
And the second is how I deal with these situations. I think I'm an open book because I am as I am. I am very open about who I am, and I'm very expressive, very communicative. My friends will tell you I am a great communicator. I share my feelings. I express myself pretty well. And when things don't feel good within me, besides speaking to my therapist who I've had since my divorce, 17 years, besides talking to her, I try to find ways that make me feel better. And surprisingly, you'll be surprised to hear that when I started on social media, it was entirely documenting, oh, I'm at the gym. Oh yeah, I've lost weight. Here's what I do. And then it moved into, I feel like sharing about something I'm going through, and I'm going to get judged. I don't know what's going to happen. But what happened from me starting to do that became extremely cathartic. Like, it started becoming therapeutic, where other than just sharing on social media that, oh my God, my brother just committed suicide, it became almost like a second very important layer of my own personal therapy. And then the second thing that came after that is realizing that people were understanding, connecting, appreciating that I was being an open book. Actually, when my brother passed in 2017, I remember crying and then starting to get to this place where I would feel the same way I felt when my parents divorced when I was 13. I had no one to talk to. I had nothing to do but suppress the feelings. And as a result, when I was 13, I was put on prescription medication for migraines. Only many years later did I realize through therapy that the migraines were a result of the internal struggles I was dealing with mentally that could not come out. So guess what? I would get this really bad headaches where I could not even go to school. I had to take medication. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Like I think at 13 we did not even know about migraines.
Trying to deal with that. Like
yes.
I'm in a boarding school and all I knew was I'd get a headache that my left eye would go blind. I can't see.
Oh wow, that is
Pressure. Yeah, the pressure, yeah.
I mean that is crazy. And this issue of going to boarding schools, I went to a boarding school myself, but in high school. But this idea that I hear some people go to boarding schools from standard 5,
Two.
yeah,
Standard two.
that right there.
I lose standard 1 even.
Okay,
Standard
Alright.
3 for me.
yes, Mike, for you it was standard.
No,
3.
me was standard 5.
It was standard
While I was
5.
in 6, my brother
Yeah.
was 5, my sister was standard 3.
Yeah, that's
Kerugoya.
yes, that's something that needs to be talked about. So back to you, Jane, and you transformed from being what we essentially saw back in the days. First of all, even besides the point, the first time I saw JANE MUKAMI was on
Why?
yeah, no, I'll tell like it's an interesting story. The first time I saw JANE
Tanya,
MUKAMI,
say it.
the first time I heard about JANE MUKAMI
Uh-huh.
was on 10-minute fix. Do you guys even remember 10-minute fix?
Of course.
Yes, that was the first time.
With a Kinadab and what is his name?
Leo
DJ.
Fire.
Leo Fire.
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Roy Wangu. That's the
Yeah.
first time, like I heard of JANE MUKAMI.
Bring back 10-minute fix.
Yes,
Mko wapi nyinyi?
and that 10-minute fix was actually ahead
Let's find Leo
of its
first.
time. That was the first time.
Leo Fire.
So
It actually was.
Yes. So
It's
from
way
back-
ahead of his time.
yeah, back then you were so into fitness, and you transformed from what was then essentially a fitness coach to what you now describe as a mentor of transformation, with a renewed focus on nutrition, where you say before fixing your body, you must first fix your mindset and then the body follows. Now, because most people associate good bodies with pounding iron in the gym, please guide those who are tuned in what exactly this means in layman terms, and maybe how this strategy can be more of benefit to them in the long run, because most people have never thought about mind when it comes to trying to figure out your body. JANE MUKAMI.
Well, this goes beyond fitness. This is life. And you've asked me the context of working out, going to the gym, lifting, running, cycling, whatever, moving your body, right? When I began my weight loss journey in 2008, I started doing the same thing. It was the first time I'd ever been in a gym. I was 28 years old. I went to the gym to lose weight. I knew what to wendanga gym to lose weight. That's all I knew, right? So it was 2 years, 2009, 2010, working out, sometimes working out twice a day.
Eish.
And I only lost 4 pounds. I remember thinking, what am I missing? Nini naendelea, what's going on? Right? And this is the same mentality a lot of people still have today. Yes, in those 2 years, I was doing every diet, losing a bit of weight, gaining it back. But it was 2010, which is 15 years ago, when I thought of, okay, nothing's working. I'll have lipo before I could go on and have the procedure done like 2 weeks away from the date. I met a friend and she was like, wait, don't do lipo. First, go to my coach and give him a chance. And that's what changed everything. Because what he taught me was, oh yeah, you've been exercising, cool. I'll still make you exercise, but the piece you've been missing is that you can exercise all damn day, you can run half marathons, but until you eat a certain way, you'll really never change your body. So by the time 10-minute fix was coming around, this was 2011. This is when they were making fun of me saying old school Jane was nice and round and plump. New school Jane has muscle. I started bodybuilding. This was when 10-minute fix started doing their YouTube channel. And it was 2011 when Leo and Fini and Alan started talking about me. It was one of the first programs. So anyway, what I got from that journey was, I don't care how hard you work out. And that's what made me transition my business in 2018, saying, if you don't want to work out, you're my customer, because I know it doesn't matter. You're still going to lose 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 pounds without exercise.
Not that there's anything wrong with being plump, Kiasi.
But
Carbs save lives.
But you know, the most compelling thing that you said is that you are considering lipo.
Lipo.
That was back in was that back in 2008, 2009?
2010.
Or that was 2010.
2010.
This was, I paid the deposit for my procedure
Wow.
in March 2010.
You hadn't even paid a deposit.
That's
and
part
I
of the
lost it.
money that went in over there in the bank.
Oh, that one.
Keep up, keep
Okay.
up, keep up, keep up.
Sorry.
Okay. All right. I mean, that isn't so encouraging because some people feel like that's the only option. That's the only way out they have. There's other options that people are looking into nowadays, like these drugs.
Or
Yeah, like Ozempic. And,
Those ones.
Yeah, and we still...
Atulipui.
Yeah, and we still don't fully know, like the side effects
No, we don't. We don't.
of the
Yeah,
drug, but a lot of people are using it. It's very popular. It's always being advertised. So that's quite encouraging, and especially the nutrition part. Now, talking about nutrition, there was some very controversial statements that were made by a doctor who came on the OneMic Show a couple of weeks ago. A lot of people were pissed off. We always like getting these different perspectives, and she had a very extreme perspective.
Not pissed off. They
Yeah.
say they were very vocal.
Yes, they were very vocal. And she had this very extreme, like perspective of
Plant-based.
humans are not meant to eat any animal products.
Yani
Like-
alisema nyama choma ni mbaya, you are carcinogenic, na wewe utakufa. Na what else did she say?
No,
and,
nyama
you
choma.
and you cannot eat eggs because for you.
nyama
Ah,
choma.
wewe.
Nyama choma
She
was
did-
extreme. She called
she
nyama
said-
choma carcinogenic. And eggs, she said that a human should not be eating more than 2 eggs in a week.
So
Ali,
Yeah. So let's
Ali.
hear from Mika.
yeah. So, and there's something that Jane has said, and it might have passed a lot of people who haven't realized. She said something that she was working out, but she will only lose like 4 pounds, 2 pounds, and she would ask herself, "What is it I'm doing wrong?" And doing all these diets and everything, and what I'm doing wrong. And you remember when you guys asked me what I'm doing, and I told you is simple. I started counting my calories. Yes, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just started balancing my macros, counting my calories, eating on a deficit, and my workout was more of to balance with the nutrition part of it. And that is why when we had our doctor, kuna mtu alisema daktari alitoka TikTok, but I don't say hivyo, but kuna mtu alisema hivyo, it's that when I told her that extreme diets have one thing that makes them fail. You get tired of it. Your body feels restricted and it becomes rebellious. And then so when you utajipatia cheat day ya kwanza, utajipata baada ya cheat day kuna cheat weeks, then you have cheat months.
So basically you become a
and you go
cheater.
back to normal programming.
Oh,
Okay.
But
Okay.
if you balance your nutrition and you eat in a healthy way, you will find yourself eating less because there is nothing that you cut out of your diet. You just balance your nutrition to fit your goals.
Okay.
Ama coach nimedanganya.
Okay. Coach, react to what Mika just said.
No, he's got some valid points. It's not about extreme dieting. It's not about saying, I'm doing keto, I'll never eat carbs. Siku moja utanguka ukule ugali, you won't stop eating ugali, right? It's not about saying, animal protein is carcinogenic. Carcinogenic comes from it being roasted or chomwad. Yes, the burning and all that. So if you say, yeah, I'm gonna go plant-based and not eat any meat, what about the day you're gonna miss meat? So anything that's extreme sets you up for failure, because if one day you feel deprived and you go back to it, you cannot come back. Yeah. So I'm of the same school of thought that there needs to be balance. You should be able, and what I teach my clients is, my thing is sugar. I love cake. I love donuts. I don't care for alcohol. I don't care for fried foods. But I enjoy having a good slice of cake. If you tell me not to eat cake, we'll fight. So I still enjoy cake in moderation, 1, 2, sometimes 3 times a month, depending on what phase of my journey I'm in. Everything in moderation. But for you to get there, there's work that has to be done first. Yeah, so everything in moderation for it to be a lifestyle, because really it's not about losing weight, it's about keeping the weight off. That's the litmus test for a good protocol.
Okay.
Anyone can lose weight. Fast for religious purposes, fanya Ramadan 30 days. You're going to lose weight. But then what happens after that?
I know. I have experience with that.
You eat like Ali and
Yeah.
and the cycle continues.
You
the
know,
next
it's
year.
interesting. Ramadan, I very easily lose 10 to 13 pounds religiously every year. And religiously, I gain it back before the next Ramadan.
And then
So
some.
you gain 20.
Yeah, you know,
I know because I work with a lot of women who go through Ramadan with me, and when they go through Ramadan with me, once they lose the weight, they never gain it back.
Okay, all right. So are you telling me? But now you only work with women. That's another
Ali,
issue that I think we'll need to talk about, but later on, not right now. On why you only choose to work with women when there are so many men
like Ali who go through Ramadan
and need
gain.
help.
Yes, and
after
gain.
that.
Yes.
And actually, here one of your students, Ed Ribu, is saying former Jane student. So clearly, you work with men. You know, we have a male student here. So
Edward worked with me. I certified him to become a coach.
Oh, damn. Okay. All
So
right.
he attended my certification program where I was teaching him how to coach clients. So of course he got to learn the method that I use with women, and he saw how effective it is, and it's helped him build his business.
Oh, nice.
So that's how I got to work with him. But I'm just going to put it out there. Not that I have anything against men, but when I did try working with men, it just was not joyful, for a politically correct term. Men are a little difficult. They don't listen. Mnafikiria mnajua kila kitu. You question everything I say. And then there are moments where you just come to class and stare at me and don't say anything. See, I told you I love communication.
But maybe the guy was liking what he was saying, so he couldn't talk. I'm just...
Or maybe it's the guys you are working with. Why are you painting us with a broad brush?
It could be like OneMics. Maybe you are working
maybe
with
you
OneMics.
work with a couple of OneMics.
Yeah, because what you were Baltimore... Oh, sorry.
But is it...
Clearly, you're the people she's talking about.
Ego.
Thank you.
Us guys were very nice people.
It was hard. It became tough. But what worked for me is I don't have to work with everyone. Not all money is good money. I get to choose, right?
Oh, wow.
And I chose to stick with the women.
Okay, now that's what financial independence is. Not all money is good money. When you're not financially independent, you will chase any kind of money that comes your way, you know, like, and that's why, you know, like, I think it's very important to be part of this coaching class. I don't know whether an exception can be made, you know, like for some of us.
For a loose Ali, so that Ali becomes like Ed, and then Ali becomes Train the Trainer.
Yeah, but we'll figure that out. And here, Wamahot is saying, I need to know how to get back my collarbone. So Wamahot, you know who you need to contact. And then Tabitabi saying,
collarbone.
That's me. He says, I can attest to that. Even trying to get your significant other, they don't want to listen. So yeah, so I think
To get your significant other, what do you mean?
Like when you're working out, like with your significant other, or just having conversations. I think that's basically in general. Like us guys, as
I think she's saying,
Yeah.
even if, like, I'm assuming she's a girl,
Yes.
a woman. If she's working with me and I'm teaching her how to eat, if she's talking to her husband saying, hey, Jane is teaching me how to eat to Kuleivi, the man, there's resistance. Right.
Okay.
Mnaona vile mmejaribu kumansplain. You're Dr. Nasema. That's what she's talking about. All that mansplaining you're doing, that's what she says she's talking about.
Okay. Aya.
we Mika tangulini
Acha kujaribu kuget pointers hapa.
ndani ya nini box ya kuwa ile side ya females. We uko huku. What are you
No,
talking?
ni ukweli tu. Sasa zingine like scale back, skia.
Okay,
Scale back.
Okay,
Listen.
so we listen more than we talk.
All right,
Okay.
I want to
And-
welcome, I want to welcome Stephen JJ from Texas, tuned in. EVE Karanja from Long Beach, California. Karibu sana EVE. Anasema, what mindset shift changed everything for you? I think we already talked about that. And Tabitab, he's saying kuskiza mambo ya diet. Yeah, so Tabitab is agreeing with JANE MUKAMI. And I want to remind the listeners that you're all tuned into the OneMic Show, and I'm your host and producer, Ali Badawi. We are talking to JANE MUKAMI, the Harvard-certified award-winning weight loss coach and international best-selling author. She's just walked us through, like a powerful transformation from heartbreak and weight gain to rebuilding confidence and helping thousands of women around the world reclaim their health. But Jane's story doesn't stop at weight loss. She knows what it means to start from zero. In just 7 years, she went from rock bottom to financially free and retired, all by leveraging social media to building thriving online coaching businesses. And this October, she'll be hosting an exclusive event where she'll share exactly how she did it, the systems, the mindset, the strategy behind going from zero to retired. So stay tuned for details on that. And if you want to be first on the list when the doors open, drop the word waitlist in the comments. Please drop the word waitlist in the comment. I know Steve Batty has already dropped it, so drop the word waitlist. We're going to be keeping a tab. We'll hand over all these names to JANE MUKAMI. We want you to drop the word waitlist in the comments right now to secure your spot before the details go live, because you always know JANE MUKAMI's, like sessions always have limited spots. It's not for everyone. She only chases good money, and will shortly shift gears from personal transformation to entrepreneurship. How Jane turned her passion into profits and taught others to do the same. Our lines are open. The number is 202-683-4570. Press star 5 to speak. This is the only opportunity to talk to JANE MUKAMI. You guys need to understand that JANE MUKAMI is a big deal, and you cannot she's not like Ali. Unajua vile Ali tu text, like
and then he responds
at 11:57 p.m. and then
he responds at 11:58.
Yeah, and then so JANE MUKAMI doesn't operate like that. Like she's now retired. She's only chasing good money. She's also very busy
I
despite
think the
being
money
retired.
is chasing her.
Oh, the money is chasing her.
Yes.
Yeah. So now we want to go back to you. We already have a caller?
No.
Yeah.
Evie Karanja's question over here.
So Evie Karanja's question was, what mindset changed everything for you? I think JANE MUKAMI already addressed that at the beginning.
Answered,
yeah. So, but when I come back to you.
Really? What mindset changed everything?
Yes.
What mindset shift changed everything
What
for
mindset
you?
shift changed
But I
everything
think,
for you?
I think there needs to be more clarity on the
Okay,
question.
let-
in
Yeah,
terms
so
of,
if you
fine.
type that question,
Like-
give it some more
like,
meat.
Yeah, more meat, like
Or more
mindset.
plants. More plants. Yeah. And then,
Well,
more balance.
more balance. Yeah. More of a balanced diet. And then
Before we are told you're mansplaining.
Jane,
Yes.
it's okay. Just forgive them. They are
Okay.
both men's. They're explaining.
But anyway, moving on, Jane, in the US, we live in a world where there's generally a high dependency on formal employment in the corporate field, where most of us are. Entrepreneurship is highly valued, but there's a perception of high barriers to entry, both financially and even hands-on experience. But in a testimony I mentioned earlier in the introduction of this episode, one of our avid fans, Ms. Tabitha Njeri, said that after attending one of your classes, she came out not only as a career coach, but earning 6 figures from the hustle. So JANE MUKAMI, please give us the brief process by which you transform just a regular day-to-day employee into a seasoned hardcore entrepreneur in a short period of time in a world where many in their 40s and over feel stuck in employment. JANE MUKAMI.
So we all, most of us will go through the same path. We come to the US, we get a corporate gig. I was there. I was in tech for 18 years. I went to college to get there, of course. And not everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur. Let me start by saying that. Entrepreneurship is for those people who start to feel the itch. You start to get restless. You start to wonder, okay, I'm 40 something and retirement is 65 and I just can't see myself doing this for another 20 something years. Yeah. So I think let's be clear from jump that not everyone is supposed to be an entrepreneur, and not make anyone feel as though they're losers or not doing what they should be doing, right? So, as was my case, I did not wake up and say, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. No, I started losing weight. I started getting excited. I started realizing that people were coming to me for help, and I was giving them a solution. And I did not want to own that, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a personal trainer, which I was when I started, because most of us working a 9 to 5, we have a home, we have a roof over our heads, we have food, our basic needs are covered, we're comfortable. So it takes something more to make you want to be an entrepreneur. So as the case of Tabitha, who you know, Tabitha came into one of the sessions I'm hosting in October, which I only host once a year. And she was interested in being a coach. She didn't even know what type of coach she wanted to be. This is maybe 4 years ago. And she came into my program and I helped her identify what type of coach she wanted to be. But not only that, teaching her about here's what you need to do on social media to accomplish that, and holding her hand through the process, getting her to launch and starting to get clients and starting to build the business. And in a very short time, she was making 6 figures from her coaching business, which was a side hustle from her 9 to 5. Can anyone accomplish this? Yes. I didn't believe I could do it too, because remember, I was working in corporate and I'm a risk taker. Unlike most of you who are smart people, I would say use your corporate job to build your side hustle. Don't just abandon ship. I would abandon the ship because I'd save up money and say, okay, I've saved up this amount of money. I don't have to make money for 8 months. I'll just focus on building the business, and I want all my attention focused on this. That's what I did in 2018. But in 2018, I lost all the money I'd saved. Long story. Okay.
Allah.
I think that's
How?
that bank. Those guys, they gongad her again.
Oh,
Again.
Yes.
or that was before the bank.
No, this same bank. Oh no,
this
sorry.
is 2018. This is
Okay.
2018.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a long story, but 2018, I quit my corporate career here in Atlanta, and I was all set to build my business now the right way. So I'd saved enough to kind of give me that my bills are paid for 8 months. I can just focus on building the business. But I had a ex-boyfriend who needed money.
This one, yeah, we love this story. Now that you brought it up,
Now you see why.
No. We're not going there. We're just going to
You
keep
see why
moving.
you guys can't be trained.
yeah, okay,
You can't.
okay, yeah,
So anyway,
Yeah.
when I lent him the money and the money did not come back when it should have, now I was in this quagmire of, okay, now I'm broke again. Do I get another job to save more to finally build the business? And I need us to pause here, because everybody wants that six-pack body. Everybody wants the money. Everybody wants the house, the cars, the vacations, the trips. But when we're in the moments that are going to define us, what I call the struggle, we always fall back to the easiest thing. And in my case, when I was sitting there thinking, okay, I have 2 choices. I can get another tech job tomorrow, but that means I have to put my dream of building a business on hold. Which one do I want more? Do I want the easy way out, or do I need to be stretched and figure this shit out? And I chose to, you know what? I'm going to figure it out. And the way I had to figure it out came through me meeting a coach that was promising to help me accomplish what I needed. But I only had $100 in my bank account.
wow.
So I
Okay.
remember telling him, when I was talking to him on the phone, I'm like, why had I not met you 6 weeks ago? Because I had money in the bank. And he says, well, can you at least put a deposit down while you figure out the rest? And I told him, I'm broke. I have $500 and my rent is due in 10 days.
Wow. This is, yeah.
And I said to him, I'm going to put down a deposit of $250. and I needed to pay him 12,000.
Eh? Ateke.
Atiatia.
Needed to pay $12,000 for 8 weeks of coaching.
Does,
Wow.
does that coaching come with a job or a
I
business?
paid him $250 and I got off the phone and I literally cried my eyes out. I'm like, I don't know how I'm paying my rent. I have $250 in my bank account. I need this coach in my life and I don't know what I'm going to do.
Was this coach recommended, or this was somebody, the path you wanted to go?
This is a coach that had popped up on my Facebook and that I'd watched for about 8 months.
Okay.
And I remember thinking, and I'd attended his master, and I remember thinking, when I'm ready, I'm gonna go to him.
Wow. You know,
Okay.
yes.
So I'm slowing down in this particular incident because this is the incident that changed everything for me financially. Okay. And I'm slowing down on it to explain that as much as we want so much from life, when we get stretched, we either defer the dream and go back to default settings or we jump. So I went to the bank. No, first I went online. I'm applying for credit cards. First of all, I filed for bankruptcy in 2014. Nobody can give me a credit card. I have no debt in the US. I have no debt at all. Okay. So I was applying for loans. No one will touch me. I walk into the bank and I say, hey guys, can I get a loan? And my bank gave me a loan for $25,000. I paid the coach and I was like, okay, I can exhale because I have some money to float me for a few months. But by God, when I paid that man $12,000 for those 8 weeks, I went to work. In 3 months, so 12 weeks from when I paid, I made $70,000.
Wow. So 3 months from after the coach's class, or
No, during.
No.
during
So
the coach's class.
I started making money while with the coach in week 4.
Wow. You know,
And she still had another 4 weeks
You know,
to go,
Jane
'cause she said
Mukami-
8 weeks, right?
yes,
Yeah.
there's so much, like we're trying to digest here.
I know.
Yeah. So first of all, I did not even know about the bankruptcy in 2014. I mean, I follow you. I may have missed that if you ever talked about it, but I did not know about the bankruptcy in 2014 because bankruptcy can be very, very destructive. I've never gone through one, but I've worked in the financial industry and I know how destructive it can be. A lot of people never recover from that. Then you're talking about 2018 and you're saying you had, I don't know, 100 or 500 bucks in your account. And I'm like, in 2018, Jane Mukami was already a big deal. She was,
Of a big deal. A big deal. So let's break it down.
yes.
I'm gonna take you back a little, if that's okay.
Yes, that's okay.
So we tracked pretty well. 2010 is when I hired the coach who kept me from having liposuction.
Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
2011, I started bodybuilding. 2012, I'm still working corporate. I started fitkenyangirl.com, the blog. I'm still working corporate. 2013, I'm still working corporate. 2014 is when I took a break from corporate. I took a break in between gigs and decided I needed to do something different with my life. I was feeling very restless, like I'm not happy. Yes, I'm making good money, but I'm not happy. I want to do more fitness stuff. So I took a pause from my job for about a month and I made the decision, or the answer came to me, that I needed to focus on fitness. And if it didn't work out, I could go back and get a job. That's the year I sold. 2014, I made the decision to move back to Kenya in 2014. 2014 is the year I filed for bankruptcy. I had co-signed another ex-boyfriend's commercial lease.
Atiatia, tashokera.
Where?
Tell
Okay.
you, my downfall is the male species.
Hey,
Kwa pole, kwa
wewe. Wacha generalize this song.
Mulia-
Has been in
Muliambiwa
the
muache
past.
Mansi.
Yeah.
Has been.
Yeah.
So anyway, I co-signed my ex-boyfriend's back then 3-year commercial lease,
Wow.
and we broke up before the lease was over, and he
Default.
exited. So who got sued?
You.
Me.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm going to court facing, being asked to pay $88,000.
How? Mwadhani.
The only thing that saved me is when I was working in tech, I used to work on corp to corp. I think most of you know what that is.
Okay.
So the companies would pay my company and I would receive a W-2 from my company.
Mm-hmm.
So according on paper, on W-2, I was making 25 grand a year.
Mm.
So luckily, that is what, when I went to court, was, hey, I make 25 grand a year. You're trying to come at me for 80 something grand. And my attorney was like, you can file for bankruptcy or you can work out a deal where you pay out back this 88K slowly. And during this time, I'd already made up my mind I was moving back to Kenya. So guess what I said? Kama
Bankruptcy
mbaya mbaya at this point.
Bankruptcy.
Kaende.
Kaende.
Katambe.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I filed for bankruptcy and I was moving to Kenya the following year. I decided to keep my house, and out of nowhere, someone came and bought it off of me. So my house was good. And then I moved to Kenya in 2014. 2015 is the first year I released a digital product. It was a $10 ebook that made me a lot of money. And I started selling ebooks. So my brand was doing something, it was bubbling, but realized from 2010, I really hadn't made internet money until 2015 when I moved to Kenya.
Okay.
2015, 16, coming back to the US every 3-4 months to spend time with my brother. Then my brother's issues came up. I came back to the US 2016. We lost him in 2017. That's what made me come back and resettle without like knowing I was resettling back in the US. So when we laid my brother to rest in April 2017, I decided I'm going to stay here, see my therapist who's here in Georgia, and go back to Kenya at the end of the year. And while I'm doing that, I decided to get a contract to work back in tech. And I got a job opportunity with Coca-Cola, and I got an opportunity with the state. And because I knew I wanted to build my business, I said no to Coca-Cola, who was going to pay me about $120 an hour. And I took a job that was going to pay me $55 an hour because I needed time to work on my business. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
So I chose to take less money to get more time to try and grow my business. Yes, I'd been selling ebooks. I was working with people online, but it was, to me, small potatoes. In my mind, I knew I could see that there was so much potential in the online space. I just didn't have the tools. So living back in the US in 2017, as we all know, when you're in the US, the ads you see here are different than the ads we see in Kenya.
Yes.
So I started seeing ads and following more coaches who are teaching people how to do this social media thing. And I'm like, okay, I need to be here. I don't need to rush to Kenya because the moment I go back to Kenya, I'm locked out of this information. And I also was tired of being in Kenya because in Kenya, I felt like I'm like the big whale in a small fish pond. And I really hate that feeling. I like being a tadpole in an ocean.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how it came to be that I stayed in 2017 and I told myself, okay, I'm giving myself 12 months. I'm going to quit my job and focus on the business. So fast forward to saving all the money, 2018, quitting my job, making a stupid decision, no money. I've taken a loan. Are we all caught up now?
Yes, there was a boyfriend and money, and he took it. Yes, we had that.
Now, Jane Mukami, this is so shocking, like, and I love this because we try to get, on the OneMic Show, we try to get people to have this background information that may not necessarily be available, like in short posts or in short videos. So I'm really glad you're talking about this and just getting people to know you may be in a very bad place, but guess what? I came from a worse place. I personally have never filed for bankruptcy. And you're not only talking about bankruptcy, there's so many other things. You're talking about, loaning someone money and never getting it back, like being at $100 on your bank account.
250.
When you
Yes.
go Georgia, there's no mungiki.
And by the way,
Yeah.
it's not once,
Yeah, it's not once.
twice loaning.
Yes. And I think,
Once Britain, twice shy.
yeah, and I think
This is
also,
George Bush.
I think looking back at this, it's important to understand that had you not gone through these tragedies,
Kabisa.
maybe you would not be where you are.
Yes.
You'd be somewhere in a comfortable job, earning, like $100 per hour at Coca-Cola.
No.
Maybe
Get
300,
120.
300.
Get
Or
it
120.
right.
Should be at 250
Okay,
because of
okay.
experience.
Okay, because of experience, maybe.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
But much less money. But now you're talking of a very, very short time window. 7 years, 2018 to 2025, where all this magic happened to a point where you're like, I no longer have to, work for a living. I do not have to chase, all kinds of money that come my way.
Bad money. Money.
And all this through coaching. And there was actually another one of our avid listeners and contributors, Washeke. She actually wanted to know how you help your clients identify a coachable niche, because you talked about a lot of coaching. We see a lot of this coaching, like on our timelines. And what Washeke was asking is, how do you help your clients identify a coachable niche where passion can become profitable? Because for most people, that they may not see their passion as something that can turn into profit. Most people tend to have skills, passions, and hobbies, but have no idea on how to make money out of it. And so they tend to stick to their day job. So Jane Mukami, talk to us about, especially someone who's on the fence about investing in one of your coaching classes because of believing that their passion has no path to profit. What exactly is this skeptic missing out? Jane Mukami.
So when I started teaching coaches, I started teaching women how to turn their purpose into profit and leverage social media. I launched this during COVID, by the way. That was the first time I launched it. Okay. I didn't want to, but my business coach at the time was like, you've built an amazing business. You have everything it takes to show someone else how to do it. Let's create a business from it. And that's what I did. Back then, my focus was different. I was taking anyone who thinks they want to be a coach and help them figure out their thing. In case in point, when I first met Tabitha and Jerry, she thought she wanted to be a mindset coach.
Yeah.
And halfway through my program, she came back and said, Jane, I think I want to take what I've been doing professionally and coach on it, which was, leadership, professional development, and all that. And so we kind of pivoted and put everything else aside and built the business for what she does, career coaching, and what she does now. Today, now, it's not possible for me to help you identify what your thing is. And do you know why? Because social media has become very saturated.
Yes.
If you haven't cut your teeth on your passion, starting now experimenting becomes very difficult. So what I'm doing now and over the last 2 years is I want you to come to me when you're already a coach. You've already invested some time and effort to figure out your thing. You've already coached a few people. You're coming to me for rocket fuel. You're coming to me to scale things and grow things. Okay? So it's easier for me to help those people than trying to take somebody who this week might be, I think I want to be a relationship coach. And then in 2 months, they're like, that's not working. I think I'm going to try and be a career coach. There is no longer time to try and throw something on the wall and see if it sticks. Not in today's social media 5 years ago when we used to see everyone's post, maybe. Right now, there needs to be super sharp focus on what you're doing. So I only want people who are already on that path and they want to accelerate.
So maybe, like drill down on that a bit.
Maybe I could help her by sharing what I think is the quickest way to identify your passion. Your passion is something that comes very easily to you. It comes so easy that you don't even see it, but other people see it. That's what happened to me. People would be like, "Oh my God, you're so natural and you know everything about weight loss and fitness. You should consider doing this." And I'd say, "Oh, what do you mean I should consider doing this? I have a career in tech. This thing will never make me as much money as I'm making in tech. What do you mean? No, I can't do that. No. I'll give you advice for free, really. I don't So your passion is something that is so innate. It's the thing that your friends and family come to you for.
Okay.
They're like, "Hey, I'm interviewing. Can you look at my resume?" That's your passion. It's the thing that you already do, but it is so easy to miss because you can't see it within yourself, but other people can see it. So what I advise people is take your 5 closest friends and send them a list of questions which are along the lines of, what am I really good at? Let people tell you, because you can't see inside the box.
Very
and
true.
You'll be surprised by the
Very
answers.
true. Yeah.
It took people telling me for years that I should be doing what I do today. For 3 years, I kept saying, no, I can't. No, it will never make me 6 figures. No, I'm not doing it.
Wow. And I think this may have something to do with how we were raised and how we were educated also in Kenya.
100%.
Yes,
not maybe.
where we were supposed to take a certain path.
Boss, either you're a lawyer,
Doctor.
an architect, engineer,
Yeah.
accountant.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Try to tell your mother you want to be a DJ.
Yeah. And
Hey, in whose house?
yes, and
Shaitan.
Yes.
Shindwe.
There was
Jesus'
someone who
name.
was actually
Rebuke
asking
you.
for the number. I think it was
202-683-4570.
press star 5 to speak. I think it
Repeat
was
again.
Anamolago.
202
Uh-huh.
683
Uh-huh.
4570. Anamalago aka Amope.
Yes.
Pick us in.
And then you do what? Star 5.
Then
Press
press star
star
5 to speak. Yeah. And for Jane Mukami to understand 202-683 4570 nyota 5. Anyway, the number to call is 202-683-4570. Press star 5 to speak.
It's nyota. I thought
Yeah.
it was hash.
No,
yeah.
no, it
hash,
is star.
Hash ndio ile ingine.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah, hash ni alama ya reli. So star 5 to speak. Yes, hash ni alama ya
I
reli.
thought he was going to say alama ya
Yeah.
dukuduku.
Okay, yeah, sawa sawa.
I
So
thought.
so please give us a call. But I think, like you also mentioned something that passed us for a moment. Social media. Social media has changed. Like it is no longer what it used to be. And I don't know exactly when it changed, but it feels nowadays to me, social media feels like a task more than the fun place that it used to be. It has changed fundamentally. And I think you mentioned something where you said back in the day when it was easier to just go on social media and see what everyone has posted. So how has that change affected, like the ability of a regular Joe, just being able to go there and make something out of it? Because I think it's a change that most people have not understood. Jane Mukami.
I think everyone can attest to the fact that over the last maybe 2 years, let's even say 3 years. Remember when you used to get on Facebook and all you saw was your friends, your family, the guys you went to high school with, the people you're friends with, you can see their content. Then came the age of COVID, came the Reels, came TikTok, came Instagram videos. Then the push was everybody needs to make more videos to push more content. And then now you go on Facebook and you start seeing posts from pages you didn't even sign up to receive.
Yes.
That's the current status now, right? And I keep seeing all these posts and I have to keep going and blocking them because I'm like, I want to see my friends, but I can't see them. So the algorithm keeps changing and getting tweaked, changing and getting tweaked so much that unless you know how to play the social media game, people won't see your posts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I started learning from investing, so 2018 was the first year I invested in a coach, the one I told you about where I was from $250 to taking a loan to figure it out.
Okay.
And every year since, I've always had a coach. This is the first year I don't have a business coach. Well, no, I had one. I always have coaches in 12 in year blocks. So the last one that I hired last year, our engagement ended in May this year. So this year I've not hired a coach because I'm retired, right?
Wow.
But I'm saying this to say that I was very lucky that I got in and started being coached by people who understood social media and coaching and how these two have to get married for success. And the good thing is, once you know how to work social media, it doesn't matter what's happening with the algorithm now. The problem is the people who are coming in now trying to grow their businesses when they don't have the tools. They have to play a more strategic game than me, who started playing this game 7-8 years ago.
Wow, I think that's very important. And there's also a very compelling question that's coming from EVE Karanja. How do you see AI shaping the future of coaching? Because now where social media was in the 2010s, when it was still fairly newish and most people who are getting in could make something out of it, AI is still in that fairly newish phase, but it's moving so fast. It is moving so fast at a breathtaking pace that we are not even understanding what's going on. I'm personally part of a project in the company I'm working to just try and figure out, because there was something called search engine optimization. A lot of companies that were selling products are tuned to that. They are optimized to that. But now people have shifted their brains from Google to ChatGPT and other AI chatbots. So we are now trying to figure out in our company very early on, like, how do we optimize ourselves for people who are asking these questions about our products on AI? How do we capture their attention? So maybe talk to us about that briefly, JANE MUKAMI.
Innovation will never stop. Do you remember when Facebook is only
It's 21. I think it's 21 years old.
2020, was it not 20? Yeah, it's 20 years old.
It's 21.
2004.
21 years old.
21, yeah.
2021 years old,
Yeah.
right? Do you remember during COVID when what is that platform that came on? It the one where people would
Clubhouse.
just
Clubhouse,
right.
yeah.
When Clubhouse came in and everybody was trying to learn Clubhouse.
Yes.
Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And then after Clubhouse, the next trend during COVID was TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm taking us back to come forward to say that there'll always be new things coming up. Right now, over the last maybe year or two, AI has become the new Wild West,
Oh my God.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So guess what? Are we all supposed to abandon everything and just go to AI school?
No, but usually that's the trend.
But you have to start learning enough to start adapting. I'm one of those people who never adopted to TikTok. You will not find a dancing video of me anywhere. But has my business still done well? Yeah.
Are you sure you won't be found on TikTok somewhere under somebody else's career?
I do have a JANE MUKAMI TikTok. I have one video, the one for pointing. This is my age. This is my sign. Like, my personality does not set me up to be dancing on TikTok.
Yeah.
They don't. I'm sorry. I know
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
But
ma'am.
I'm saying this to say that there'll always be new things coming up. If every time something new comes up, you drop everything and run, you'll be running a lot. Yeah. So AI is here. Have I tapped into the powers of AI? I love ChatGPT. If I wanted to master AI today for a coach as myself, I would do what I've always done. I'll find the best person in the space and pay them a shitload of money for them to show me the shortcut. Like, hey, so what exactly do I need to do? That's how I've succeeded. I'm really good, and it's become my lifestyle. I call it the investing in myself lifestyle. I need to accomplish this. Who's the best in the industry? How much is it? Here's my credit card. Let's go. In months, I'll be done. I'll have climbed that mountain, and I'm now looking at onto the next mountain. Yeah. So do we need to adapt? Do we need to learn AI? Of course we do. At what rate? What are you trying to do with it?
Wow. You know, the number to call is 202-683-4570. Press star 5 to speak. Of course, we have JANE Mukami with us, you know, like dropping some serious gems. You know, people asking for the number, but they're not calling in. I think they're absorbing so much.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
People are listening
Yeah,
and absorbing like a
she's moving
sponge.
at the rate
Yeah.
of AI, so it's a little hard for them to.
They want to focus.
Yes. They're pinpointing.
There was
I'm not even good at AI. I haven't even tapped into the power of AI as I should have by now.
And I guess that's scary.
It's scary to a point
That
but
you're not there, because I think once you get it, there's another business opportunity.
absolutely. Now, where I think I've tapped into the power of AI is where I invest. I'm in one or two investment opportunities that are private equity where they're running everything using AI.
Yeah. So AI has gone into the financial world, you know, because I have an interest there, and the private equity space is getting quite interesting. For most people, I hate to tell you this, but you may not qualify to get into private equity, although there's new, you know, like there's companies like ARC that have opportunities for people who have less money that they want to go in, because in private equity they're going to ask you to go in with maybe a minimum of there's some that will allow you to go in with 100K, but these are opportunities that sometimes range into the millions. They are way more risky than your everyday stocks. But
Jen is retired, so she probably has that million, right?
Yeah. So when you have to be in a very good space to go there, you have to understand that money that you put in there, you know, it can 10x within 2 years, or you can lose it all. You know, like that's something that you have to be mentally prepared for, which most people are not. And that's why, like with just if you're still in that maybe paycheck to paycheck phase, or maybe you're just in a comfortable phase, you're just okay with investing in index funds. The interesting thing is that there's been a lot of AI funds that within the publicly traded companies that have tried to beat the S&P 500, and so far none has done that. There's some that beat it for 1 year, but when you go to the third, the fourth, the fifth, sixth year, it tends to balance out. But that's a very interesting part. Private equity, I think, is one of those things that especially the Kenyans who are becoming wealthier need to learn, need to understand. It's a very interesting space, private equity, and there's also venture capital, which is also very interesting. I'm sure it's a space that that Jane has been looking into. But of more interest, Jane, there was a model that Tabitha told us where it's a low or no overhead with high cash flow, whereby a lot of people are normally scared of going into an idea because they feel they need so much money. They feel like for this idea to work, I need $100,000 or I need $50,000. I don't have it. But there's this thing called low overhead, high cash flow.
$13,000.
Yes. What exactly does that mean?
I have no idea what that is, but what I could say is that the coaching business has a very low
Overhead.
entry
point.
Yeah, like all you need is understanding what you want to do, what problem you want to solve, and come in. All you need is Wi-Fi and your laptop and you need to learn how to now go and talk about what you do in the right places. In this case, the right places for me always is social media, right? For the longest, I ran my business doing everything from 2018. I hired my first employee. Well, I've always had an assistant who's my cousin. I hired my first employee in 2020, 2023 is when I had my first like other helper. But by the time I was hiring her, I was already making $1 million a year. So
Pause
what-
there. Hey, you cannot move like that.
She's already a millionaire. Kwa nini mulikuwa mna
Okay.
doubt?
Pause there. You said you were already making $1 million. I think that's important for people to understand. You moved 7 years previously, and you barely had enough money in your bank account. And now, what year is it you're talking about? Is it 23 or 24?
23.
2023.
Oh, did you say in my bank account? No. Come on, no. Actually, it's funny you bring that up because today I remembered it was June 2020 during COVID when I saw the most money I'd ever seen in my bank account. It was $100,000.
Okay.
A screenshot, and I sent it to my dear friend, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this.
Wow. Is that money that you got from business?
Of course, I made this from my coaching, right?
Okay.
But it's the most amount of money my eyes had ever seen on my online. Like you log into your bank account to look at your account, and I'm like, $100,000.
Was that
Right.
before or after Uncle
was-
Sam?
No, this is gross, not net. Just seeing the money.
Just the money.
Just seeing the money,
Just
yes.
a balance. Just
Yes.
a balance.
Yeah.
Right.
It's still a lot of money. Wait.
And you see the numbers you talk about are unfathomable for people to understand. You know, like you're saying your business made $1 million for you, like in a certain year. You know, these are numbers that someone, like who was struggling 7 years ago would never think, or someone who's struggling now, 2025,
yes,
is not in the mindset of I could possibly
make that.
have $1 million, like 6, 7 years from now. So I think that's why it's important sometimes to just verbalize, that this is possible. And America is one of those interesting places where things can get very tough.
Correct.
But also it's one of the few places where, people can create wealth this fast. And I know people are creating wealth in other places, but I tend to feel like America has
We have, this is how I got to start thinking of it, as has been taught to me by very many coaches over the years. This is the land of Facebook, of Amazon. This is the country where all these great companies on the stock market are created. This is where entrepreneurs wake up, especially the click entrepreneurs like myself. We're making money online, going from 0 to 7 figures a year for a few years, simply by being here where the knowledge is. Okay? So it's just a matter of anybody choosing, listen, here's where I need to go. Here's where I'm at. There's a gap. What am I going to do? And unfortunately, most people's answer is,
Doubles.
oh, I'm going to take a loan and go back and get an MBA. No. Wow. And I shared this on social media where my mom didn't talk to me for 6 months because I refused to get an MBA in 2012. I'm like, Mom, I don't want to keep working in corporate. I'm going to do something with this fitness thing that you think I joined a cult for. I'm going to do something with it. Just watch me. Just give me time. I don't need an MBA. Right? So it's not going to be traditional or conventional, because the way we're doing business has changed. 20 years ago, could you make money on Facebook? There was no Facebook.
No.
So why are we still trying to have big dreams but use traditional methods? Ali, you and I have had these conversations.
Yes. Multiple
About
times.
everyone is making money in the US buying plots in Kenya. Why?
Yes.
Like, the hell?
Broti maguta.
How?
Why?
So
Like,
so you see, now you mentioned that, like now coming back to our population, like especially our Kenyans. And actually before that, I think we have a caller. Again, the number to call is 202-683-4570. Press star 5 to speak. We're going to go back to that topic of mafuroti, because that is going to be the death of most Kenyans. So let's find out who's on the phone. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
5549. Thank you for calling the OneMic Show.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can hear you.
Yes.
Please tell us your name and
We
where you're
can
calling
hear you.
from.
My name is Anna Mwalago, and I'm calling from Bubi.
Okay, Anna Mwalago from Bui. Please talk up. We can barely hear you.
Anatumia ile volume ya kuimba.
Yeah,
Yes.
imagine you're
Okay.
singing. Yeah.
Eh,
Yes.
basi hiyo volume.
Yeah.
Eh.
Okay.
Nimehepa because niko hapa peke yangu. So ngoja, I'm using my earpiece. Can I take it off for them?
Okay. Yeah, you can take it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Can
can
you
take.
hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Now talk to
Can
us
you
and
hear me
talk. Yes, we can hear you. Talk to Jane.
Hi.
Amope.
Hi, Jen. How are you?
I'm
Yes.
good.
Hi, Jen. How are you? This is Anna. I am one of those people who bought your book and I never read it. And so I'm
Well,
not because it was not good. Eh?
No,
And
go
then-
ahead.
and
Go
then-
ahead.
But because of how we have an issue with time management as people, how much is time management so important in becoming successful? Because I think sometimes we are juggling so many things, and this makes us not see the prize that we are going for. It's like, is this guy? I listen to some motivational speakers who say, stop working hard too much. So stop working too hard for things that give you you get less profit than just focusing on one thing that you don't have to put too much energy in it and then can succeed. But if you're used to the mindset of working hard and doing this all the time, sometimes you think that working hard will get you there other than working smart. So that issue of working smart and time management, that's one of my questions. The other question is about weight loss. That's my biggest struggle. I get it, I lose it, all that kind of stuff. So, and that's why I bought your book. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll follow this. I even got into I also got into the training you used to offer, 14 days this, then I wouldn't follow up. But I think what I realized is that when it comes to weight loss, it's more about also what we eat, what time. Eating is more important as exercising as much as, what you eat and what time. So speak about the intermittent fasting, because I've seen it work for me at some other time. And then if I don't do it, and I also don't go to the gym, things kind of change. So I have those two things. Of course, maybe I have more questions to ask. But for right now, yeah, and also I'm very proud of you and what you're doing. It's very inspiring. And, your friend Michael is the one who told me about you. He's like, you don't know Jen? And then I followed you. So keep doing what you're doing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Anna Mwalago. Before you go, Anna Mwalago, maybe Jane, do you have a quick reaction to what Anna just said?
she's asked a lot, and I tend to forget things very quickly. So the weight loss thing, intermittent fasting, I'm not one who believes or subscribes to any diet. Some people, intermittent fasting works for them, just as some others, keto works for them, others plant-based works for them. I'm all about a well-rounded approach that makes sense for you. It has to be customized to you personally. And being able to be consistent and following up with everything as you should long term. About time management is good. Time management is a must. There is no way you're going to accomplish or do the things that you need to do without good time management skills. If not, you're going to run out of time every day, and the things that must be done never get done, which means you're always behind on your goals. So that one has to be something you get on top of.
Okay. All right. Asante sana, Jane. Asante sana, Anna. So, Anna, are we going to make our $1 million in the next 7 years?
No,
or are you
Anna-
already there?
No, Anna should by now. She has a
Who
product.
told you I'm not a millionaire?
Ole, I am coming for a loan. I am coming for a loan, Anna.
Anna tunakuja bui. We know where you live.
We know where you live. We are coming for a quick loan. There's a very hot deal that we want to do. We are gonna double our money and then we'll give you something
Na
on
ile
top.
plot yako ya
Yeah.
kule nini? Kule, where is Anna from again?
Uko Taita.
Taita Taveta.
Yes.
No.
By the
What-
hills.
what-
Tunakuja.
And what I can say is also what Jen has just spoke about. Like these days, to really make, not that I have it, but to really make $1 million, $1 million is not so hard. But the biggest thing is the challenge that we have as human beings is knowing what to focus on. We focus on things that can get us the goals we want, and then also, which is something I want Jen to speak about, is how effective social media is. You see, as an artist myself, I have a problem with social media. I don't like it very much. And so sometimes I hire people to help me with my social media when I have the money. When the money is low, I don't even do a regular kind of thing. So to me, I kind of believe that it's better to be out there doing the work than doing social media and posting. But however, to each his own, because for you, social media is a must because that's how you sell your brand. So how can we, use social media for the benefit in terms of business, especially if you feel like, it can benefit you, but you don't feel like doing it. You know what I mean?
So the problem is everyone is out there working hard. Like you said, you'd rather spend that time working instead of being on social media, but you'll keep working, but nobody knows about you. Nobody knows what you're selling. Nobody knows what you do. So being on social media, talking about, did you see what's going on with Trump? He said that everybody can now take time off or something to go to the gym. I was happy about that one. Something along those or whatever.
Yeah.
The problem is our lives are so full of distractions, and our cell phones are part of that distraction to a point where we give up our time to time waste instead of using our time to be productive. So that's the first thing, Anna. Yes, you're working hard, but imagine how much more money you'd be making if more people knew about you. That's what branding is in its simplest form. Do people know you? Do they know what you do? Do they know where you're from? Do they know anything about your family? That is what branding is at the basic level. So you can keep working hard, but you'll only be known by your neighbor, your friends, the people at church. But imagine if people around the world knew about you. Would that not make an impact financially? So when you say you hate social media, you can hate social media all you want, while some of us are using social media like a cash machine. That's what it is.
All right. Anna Mwalago, your last word before we let you go. Anna.
Yes. You have a question? No. I just definitely congratulations to Jen and what she's doing and impacting and changing lives. And I also believe that women have to support each other and lift each other up. And I'm just so happy to see her success, because her success is my success, is somebody else's success. So I really think it is important for us women, especially nowadays, not to look at other women and be like, did you need Nini? But to always look at their other women as inspiration, so that we know that if, like Maya Angelou said, what one person can do, you can do. Anything good a person has done, you can do. And anything bad a person has done, you can do. So if we look at life like that, it can really change the way we go towards, observing and getting inspired by others, but also looking at ourselves and knowing that we are limitless and we can do whatever we desire to do. But finally, I also want to say, please tell Bandio to call me, because And you said that when am I bringing my show back? Bandio is not answering my phone.
Ana, yani umeleta kitchen politics ndani ya
Umeleta
show.
kitchen politics ndani ya show.
Si
Sio ni
hata
sawa
ungetutumia
hiyo
Hii ni
hapo.
mambo ya side
Yeah,
bag bwana.
surely, yeah.
But Anna, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
And you know he's listening, so
But
unajua
remember,
umejeka
you've
kwa-
already revealed you have $1 million, so I'm coming for my loan.
Yes.
Na nikikuja loan,
I don't have.
I am coming for my loan. There's a very big deal. You know, like we'll double the money within 2 weeks.
my friend.
Kuna ploti,
and then
kuna
we'll
ploti.
share.
Broti,
Yeah.
broti, makuta, makuta.
Okay. Asante sana,
Jen,
Anna.
Jen is there. Ask Jen for a loan.
No,
We're
Jen's
asking
money.
you. You are closer.
Very
Her
relax.
money is
No.
tied up in the bank.
No, you're
Kuna
closer.
vile.
You're closer.
Ash has got deals with the issues with equity, so it's okay. Wewe, sawa tu.
Yeah, sawa. Thank you so much. Yeah. So
You're welcome. Thank you for this show.
all right. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Yeah. So Jane, you can hear this, you know, like there's one thing that I've come to appreciate, you know, like, and we've come to appreciate just doing this show, is that generally as human beings, we have so many blind spots. We cannot be good at everything. There's some certain things, there's a certain niche few things that we are very good at, but then there's other things that we're not good at. Like, I appreciate, you know, like the power of social media. Personally, I'm not very good and consistent at constantly posting in social media. You know, like I'm just not very good at that. But it's something that I understand, you know, like having talks to people like you and so many other people like Tabitha, to understand that there's a power in it. If you're not very good at it, you can get with
Hire
someone.
somebody to do it.
You can either hire someone to do it for you, or you can learn in a way that you can sustainably do it to support whatever you're doing, which is what I think most people need to understand. Now, before Anna called, we're talking about Mafuroti Maruta. This thing it is the go-to for most Kenyans, you know, like who have made some money here in as far as investing is concerned. You and I, Anna, have talked about it. Like, it's very obvious. The return is very low. The return is very low. You know, like it has a lot of issues, you know, like taking care of making sure that the rates are paid, making sure someone hasn't encroached on a piece of land and all that. But for some reason, Kenyans keep going back to that. And I'm not talking about Kenyans in Kenya. I'm talking about diaspora Kenyans. So
we
maybe
are socialized.
what is it that we are not communicating in the right way, Jane? Because this is becoming very problematic. When you look at the numbers on how much money goes to land and real estate from the amount of money Kenyans send to Kenya every year, it is staggering. I don't even want to share with you the number because you will be very shocked. Jane.
Like everything else, Ali, and like I said, you and I have talked about this extensively. It's mindset. It's mindset. That's it. We tend to keep repeating what we've been steeped in without seeing anything outside of that. In case in point, we are the Kenyans who made it out of Kenya. Tulisimama nje yo embassy, baridini, 5 a.m. Well, wale walienda through the visa process. About those of you that came through the green card process, it might have been easier, but I was an F1 student, right? We all fought so hard to prove to the American embassy that we were worthy of coming here. Then we got here and we all found our other Kenyans and we started living the Kenyan life in America. So when it comes time to investing, guess what we're going to do? We're going to keep doing what we know, not paying attention to what else is new that's around us. The one thing that I appreciate as I'm getting older is how I watched my mother doing life. My mother always had foreigners for friends. It was Waindis, it was Wazungus. She always got advice from them. It wasn't from her regular girls or friends. It wasn't the watu wa nyumbani. Yeah. So I think from a very early age, I was taught without being taught, but by observing, that anytime you're trying to do something or wanting to do something, don't just do what everyone you know is doing, which is what most of us do. What does everyone do with their money? What is the one way to succeed in Kenya? It's copy paste. Buy a shamba, buy land, put up apartments. Forget the amount of money it takes. Forget the ROI. Forget the headache. Forget, oh, this is for my children who don't even want to come to Kenya. It's being steeped in what everyone else around you is doing. So going back to my mother's story, I tend to have taken that path from her, where I just don't do what everyone around me is doing. I tend to look out, what are those people over there doing? How do they do it? Or what about those other people? I love being in different rooms to get different knowledge to do things differently. So when I was in Kenya, I just got back from Kenya. I was in Kenya 2 weeks ago. My parents were there as well in August. And it was 3 days of them dragging me around Naivasha, Kajiado, all over the place, showing me where all the shambas are.
Shamba.
And I'm like,
did you grab one?
They were being pointed to her, so she knows where they are.
Inheritance.
Yeah, just in case you know.
And being pointed to the ones that I was asked to send money 15 years ago, and I forgot, and I forgot I had a plot there and I had a few acres there. And I'm like, guys, this is land you'll do nothing with.
Yes, idle land.
No, but they're waiting for the road to come.
Can I say and the water?
Yeah.
Yes.
And the electricity.
And I'm telling them, can I sell my land and I want to take this money and invest it? They're like, no, you never sell land. I'm like, said who? Right?
That's, you never sell land.
I don't want my land. Can I take that money and put it in, it's Kenya, put it in the government bonds, right?
Huh?
Let me make my money my way. That's how I like making money in Kenya. Let me invest it in passive income where I don't have to talk to anyone.
You'll trigger Ali over here.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all
Kenyan
good.
bonds. With Kenyan bonds.
Kenyan or whatever.
Government bonds. Sorry. Yeah, you'll trigger Ali. He's already smiling.
It's okay. He can be triggered. But can we have money making us money in different ways other than the way you've always seen your parents and their friends and everyone around you doing it? And the truth is, most people don't wanna go into what's unfamiliar because there's a learning curve. You have to learn. And then most people just want to dump money and not understand anything. That's why people are getting conned. Remember that case where all those people bought some plots or some apartments and it was as a scam? We have to take radical responsibility on our finances.
Severally.
Yeah, those scams have been so common. They've been so normal that, and they've been happening year over year again. And people are still, going into those deals.
Ali, those guys get better.
Yeah,
at doing it.
Yeah, I think they get better at doing it. They get more creative. It's the same people. They create new companies. They create
companies that are called the name of the county. So they make it look like
they
they're
make it look
actually
official.
buying from the county.
Yes.
Imagine, and this is a company that you're
But
writing a check to.
they know they are preying on a population that is financially illiterate, and they just need to use these buzzwords to get them in.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Goes back to if all these things are happening, imagine you're in a country that has this is like the superpower. I know the US ain't shit right now, but this is still a superpower. There's so much going on here. Can you just figure out how does your neighbor invest? The non-Kenyan neighbor. Talk to people, find out what's there. Yes, there are many opportunities. You still have to be wise and all, but our mindset has to change about things. So when it comes to what's going on, I believe the first most important thing as a person, as an individual, is you need to have a growth mindset. It's okay to forget everything you've been taught and adapt a new way of thinking.
Yeah.
And if you don't even want to think, pay someone to show you the damn thing.
Here's another interesting thing that I've seen sometimes, and maybe we're not doing this in the right way. So someone will, like the way you mentioned earlier, when people are constantly asking you about this. This is what people know you for when you're looking for your passion. So one of the things that, like a lot of times people always tend to come to me for is advice on especially just their finances here. Like I have X amount in my bank account. I don't know what to do with it. Where should I keep it and stuff like that. Just basic stuff like that. So you will find that I will talk to people, and I will advise them, on what I feel based on their situation. But when it comes to that point of, okay, you've been coming to me for this for a long time. So to do this in a more effective way, nilipe. And I will show you a more effective way of doing it. You can put me on retainer. When that happens, that's when this person drops off and disappears. And never asks you that question. Probably goes to pay, some stranger who she's not even sure will be able to help them sort out the situation. And then when things go south is when you get to hear back about it again. And I don't know why this is so much within our community. There were some comments that were coming in here while we're talking. Sheikh is saying, I love this. She's showing us that you can be successful by taking non-traditional path. This should inspire parents to support their children. Mose Kemunto Gladys says, yes, she's dropping the gems. I have registered interest in your coaching class. So we have another one who's registered interest. So October. So Mose Kemunto, we're going to give your details to Jane. And then Apa Washeke anasema, private markets are being democratized and very soon it will be available in our retirement accounts. But I think it's mostly a cash grab for the managers and I don't see it as a benefit for regular investors. And then Wamahot says, we have a lot to learn as a community or rather immigrants about creating wealth. And Washeke says, we are always running to the next get-rich-quick schemes. You have a Kenya Doyo here from Texas, from Houston, says, kwa hiyo story ya proti, I think appealing to logic gets us stuck. Maybe we look at land as memory, not as property. Let's go deeper. And subconsciously, land is a portal for healing and continuity. It's super layered, a whole show and a half. So again, the number to call is 202-683-4570. Press star 5 to speak. You're tuned into the OneMic Show. I'm your host and producer, Ali Badawi. Of course, talking to Jane Mukami. She's a Harvard-certified award-winning weight loss coach and international best-selling author. She walked us through how she cracked the social media code, turning her passion into profit and helping thousands of others launch their coaching businesses with no excuses. Now, the big question is what happens after you've built the dream business? What does freedom actually look like when the money, the mindset, and the discipline all align? Jane Mukami knows this story firsthand. In just 7 years, like she told us, she went from broke and she built and rebuilding to calling herself officially retired at age 46. No boss, no burnout, no 9-to-5s. Just the systems she built working for her. And here's the kicker. This October, she'll be hosting an exclusive event where she'll break down exactly what she did step by step from zero to retired. If you want in, don't wait. Just drop the word waitlist on Facebook or on YouTube in the comment section to secure a spot before the details go live. We'll shortly be talking about what early retirement really means as we go to a close, the mindset, the math, and the myth. How do you know you're ready to walk away? And how do you make your money work for you long after you stopped working for it? Our lines are open. The number to call is 202-683-4570. Press star 5 to speak. Feel free to call in. So back to you, Jane Mukami. Like you said, you recently turned 46 and you announced that you're officially retired. And it got a lot of people confused. What exactly does it mean being retired at the age of 46? Because I know people who are working well into their 60s. What exactly does that mean, Jane?
I think retirement means different things to different people. Some people, retirement means you've stopped working. probably because you're old and your company is saying, Masa, it's time for you to go, right? 65, you gotta go. But I think in today's age, there's also retirement from a perspective of, I don't have to work. My lifestyle expenses are covered going forward. If I am working, it's because I choose to, not because I have to, right? So that's my definition of retired, which is I'm working not because I have to pay my bills, not because if I don't get 10 more clients, my electricity will be turned off or my cell phone will get disconnected. It's, oh yeah, I'm getting these clients because I really do like what I do. And what am I going to do if I'm just waking up and doing nothing? I'm not wired to do nothing. So that's what retirement is to me, Ali. Does that answer your question?
Yes, that answers the question. But now, is there like, how do I know I've reached that point where I can say I can retire right now? You know, maybe I have some savings in my bank account. Maybe I have a couple of investments here, a couple of streams of passive income. How do I know I'm at that point where I can say I'm officially retired?
I think that's very simple. You just need to figure out your monthly budget. What are your expenses every month? And then, so for example, you might say, I need $10,000 a month every month for me not coming in passively, and everything is covered. So that's what, 120,000 a year?
Yes.
I need $120,000 a year coming in without me lifting a finger. Whether I work or not, that money is coming in.
Okay.
And then working backward to say, what's the amount of money I need to invest for that to happen? I mean, simple math, $1 million invested at 10% is 100,000 a year.
Yes. Okay.
And 10% is low.
Okay. So when you get to that point, you can say, you know, like nimefika, so you don't necessarily have to work in order to sustain your current lifestyle, pay your bills, pay your rent or mortgage, or pay whatever needs to be paid every month in your life.
Exactly. Your principle is already set and it will keep making you the money.
Yeah.
The money making you the money. So whether I get new clients or not, that's just the extra. I don't need it, so to speak.
Okay, and there's a couple of questions here that are coming, you know, like on YouTube, and a couple of comments. Iran Dunda from Norway is tuned in. In fact, before Iran Dunda, Tony Kiru here was saying, I love her being vulnerable. And then Ira here says, like, it's true, education is a means important, but we need to put aside the old and the folk way, because it stopped many of us from daring. That's why the Gen Zs are more creative. We are still traumatized. And then Ira Father says, this is really good. Asante sana. I'm sure inasaidia sana, inspiring. And then anasema nitafuata good kusikia wa home. We own it kabisa. Lazima we check this out. Impress sana. I'm annoyed being a sports guy. Sijajua. Namtambua sana. Okay.
So you know, what basically in essence, Ira is my boy.
Yeah.
So Ira actually went to Norway and played professional soccer in Norway.
Yeah.
And then became a coach. Then moved back home. Did a stint in Kenya, was even coaching in Kenya, I think in Machakos or something, then moved back to Norway. So this is like, I guess his third life, so to speak, because he did Norway, then he went home, then now he's back.
Then he's back in Norway.
But what he's basically in essence trying to say is that had he switched from, you know, the traditional path that paros give you, maybe angekuwa way ahead.
Mbali.
So Jane is inspiring to him when he's looking at it. Problem ya Ira uwaga nayo, he's simu yake uwaga na translation ya Norwegian, so when he types in Swa, it gives other things.
It gives other things.
Yeah, that's why when you're trying to read his sentences, they're not meaning. But in essence, that is what Ira is saying. Yeah.
And then Esron Kihara is asking, Ali, Mukami has been talking about pay someone to learn something. please dig deeper on this. I think, she really talked about that. So maybe, Eston, if there's a specific question that you want Jane to answer regarding that, just type it in so that we can read it and know. But now back to this retirement part. We live in what's called a hustle culture where we are constantly busy. We are constantly doing something. You have your regular job, and then you have a side hustle here and there. So how does it work in retirement? Because you still seem occupied. You're not sipping margaritas. I know sometimes we do see images of you sipping margaritas in Mexico, but
only because of Margarita Ali.
or around people who are sipping margaritas. Let me put it that way. But where I've seen you dancing salsa. I've seen you doing salsa. In your free time. So I think because when to hold multiple incomes, we have people who tend you're doing this and you're doing that and you're still holding a regular job. For someone who's getting started, what's the easiest place to get started, especially when we talk about passive income that does not require your presence to do it? Because I think that's part of the secret sauce of being able to free yourself while still making money while you're sleeping.
Well, I think that's a deep question, and you've been in finance. I think you can back me up on this. Passive income has levels to it, right? Everyone is working a job, making some money, and it's layered. So it's first, are you putting some money aside for your emergency fund, right? And then are you putting some money aside for your 401k, your Roth IRA, your HSA, the retirement accounts, right? Those are accounts we can't touch until we're in our 60s.
Yes.
And then comes, now that you've already accomplished all those or checked those off, now you have money to invest. Where are you going to invest it? Do you want to invest it in Bitcoin? Do you want to put it in the stock market? Do you want to put it in real estate? Where do you put it? So maybe you've already done all those things, and now you're like, I have a loose $30,000, $50,000. What do I do with it? Yeah. And this is the same position I was in maybe 2 years ago. And going back to a conversation, Ali, you'd started about you're just working to survive. You're trying to get ahead.
Mm-hmm.
That was me when I started my business. Remember the trauma that came with how I started my business, being broke and having to take that loan and trying to literally go balls to the wall to make this business kind of lift off or take off. Yeah. I worked so hard that I wasn't looking at the money. And when I paused to look at the money was the time I was like, oh my God, there's $100K in my bank account. And first was guilt, because this is a time when everyone's losing jobs. COVID is here. We don't know what's happening. And I'm like, gosh, I'm making so much money. And there's strife in the world, right? Then comes more grind, more grind, more grind, more grind, more grind. Actually, it was during COVID that I saw something on CNN that I thought was a lie. There was this big thing saying 85% of Americans do not have $1,000 in their bank account. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, come on, that's not true. This is America. What do you mean there's no $1,000 in your bank account? And the story was, yeah, people live paycheck to paycheck. I'm like, what do you mean? How? We're in a great country. And it was during COVID that I opened my personal 401k as a business owner.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I opened my 401k during COVID because I remember starting feeling like I'm making money during this pandemic and I might never make this money ever again. So can I just start planning for my retirement? I opened my 401k and all my retirement accounts in 2020.
So you did not have one before that?
I worked in but remember I used to work as a consultant.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I've had 17 corporate gigs because I used
Okay.
to get contracts every year at
Okay.
different companies.
Okay.
So I never had my own 401k. I did have a 401k, but in 2003, I cashed out so I could buy my boyfriend a gift.
Wow, you and your boyfriend.
Yes,
Oh my
this-
goodness.
This is the same one of the money, or
No,
this
this
is
is
the one before the
this is
money?
no,
another
this is
one.
This is the
2003.
one of the money that could not be the money.
This is 2003, you know, so...
So those are three.
Yeah, I mean, so...
Me,
is
These are
this-
three instances.
I mean,
stopped-
I was
I
thinking
stopped
the
counting.
problem was the boyfriends, but
No,
now...
the problem is the person with the boyfriend.
But now, you seemed so happy. It was like a hobby for you
What
to
can I
give them
say?
money.
When I love you, I give you everything. What do you need? Oh yeah, I got you.
Oh, you know,
Where?
again, the
Alafu
constant
sasa- now,
here.
the constant here again is the same
The
person.
constant.
Nakumbuka tunajua account ya equity balance ni gani.
You know, this story kwanza about...
That will make it 4.
yeah, this story about giving
In Kenya, she can have
boyfriends...
even a loose 8.
This story about giving boyfriends money is trending in Kenya, but we're not going to talk about what's trending in Kenya.
Okay,
but
guys,
yeah.
no, honestly,
Yeah.
it's a thing, and I can be very transparent and say that I think when my parents divorced, I came to finally work through it as recent as last year to figure out that because my father was the love of my life and he left me, I've worked most of my adult life in relationships trying to win men's love
Wow.
to make up for what I lost. Okay?
Okay.
So
Makes
now I know why men and money in my life has been an issue. I've been single for 3 years for a reason, because I needed to work on a lot of things. I'm still working through them. But it's what's gotten me here to understanding and unpacking my personal father wound and how that translates in my relationship and why I'm so giving when it wasn't right. And hey, what can I say? Life hasn't been easy, but here I am. Okay?
Have you
Okay.
mended fences with your father?
When my parents split up, my mother took me and my brother.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny you bring it up because the day I left Kenya, I saw my father.
Oh, wow.
First time in a long time, or
Let's say over the my parents divorced when I was 13. How many
Right.
years ago is that? 30,
Oh,
let's
that's
just say
over
30.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, 20.
33.
Yeah,
33
33.
years.
Yeah.
I interacted with him maybe 15 years ago, very briefly, but this time I'm the one who reached out to him and I got to spend some time with
Oh,
him.
that is nice.
That's
Was that good?
very co-
And the reason I'm asking, the reason I ask this is, I can understand your position, but I'm a son, and me and my father had a very the first time I met my dad was, I think it was during COVID
Oh, wow.
when we were in Kenya. 22. It was during COVID.
It was
the
during
first
COVID,
time I
yeah.
physically met the guy. Since
Wow.
the last time I probably remember seeing him, I think maybe I was like about maybe 6 or 7. But that was like I can't remember.
Yeah.
But the first time tulionana na Buddha was, I think, 22. I gotta say 22 or 23.
Wow.
He has since rested, but and it was my brother who facilitated, because he's the one who's always he's in Kenya, so
Yeah.
they've had contact.
Okay.
So by me asking if they had, cause at some point, I'll say from my experience, it's a good thing that you made contact with Mzee. And sometimes it's hard to it's hard to try to get into what happened between mom and dad.
Yeah. It's
But-
even never.
But it becomes also one of your questions, because you're like, okay, what did I do? Your beef was over here.
Yeah.
How did that affect me? But you could whatever, but some of these was like, I'm gonna speak from my dad's perspective. It's one of those where my dad he's those old school guys, like, but towards as he grew older, he became a little bit more open, a little bit more relaxed, chilled, or whatever. But I never really did get to it's because of what I was feeling then.
Yeah.
I never and intention was to actually explore more. Just never had time.
Okay.
If you have time and you can, just square that out. Is all I'll say.
Okay.
From a perspective where I've been in her shoes.
You know these things that happen in childhood, and there's no proper understanding of how they would come and affect you into adulthood.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and now we are at that age where we now fully understand that certain things that happened in our childhood will affect us when we grow older.
They have affected us.
And I know, Jane, you've talked about being with a therapist. That's one thing that, especially African men, kitu inaitwa therapist is a no-go zone.
No, but Africans are actually now getting very open to it.
It is slowly getting there.
They're now getting very
but they
open to it.
still know. I mean, I personally think that people are not just resisting it, but most people don't understand. They don't have an understanding of what this can help them with.
They don't see the purpose of the use, and it's not just an African thing. It's also, I mean, there are African American or American European men who also. I think it's more a male ego thing where I don't need to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
I can solve this on my own. I don't need that external part.
Yeah.
So I think it's a global thing. There are also women who are still not fully there, but we're slowly changing that.
Now, Jane, let me ask you before Ali asks his next question. So, when you reached out, how was that? How was the interaction?
I mean, it wasn't. I think I was very clear, and I owe this to one of my cousins on my dad's side of the family who I had coffee with, and he encouraged me to do it.
Good.
It's something that my mother had kind of always mentioned, and I'd always be like, why do you want me to meet up with this man? This man, emotionally, physically abused you, bait you up. I saw you bleeding. Why would you ask me to go look for him? So my cousin really just talked to me in a way that I'd never been open to before. And I just called my dad and said, hey, it's Jane. And he was shocked. And I said, can you meet me for coffee tomorrow at 2 p.m.? And he showed up.
Oh,
And-
wow.
Wow.
Yeah, no questions. He showed up.
Yeah, he showed up. We
That's
had
amazing.
coffee.
Yeah.
We talked and we were done. And that same night is when I left Kenya.
Oh wow! I mean that was actually, I would say that's a very fruitful trip, because it closes certain gaps that maybe you had
Certain boxes are
mentally
checked.
and check certain boxes. So we hope that that develops better. But now, Jane, before we forget, as we're rolling in,
on YouTube, before you switch, this Sue O is asking Jane, and I think Sue must be one of Jane's friends. She's asking, Jane, since you interact with so many Kenyans through your work and teaching, do you ever feel a bit torn that your closest friends seem to come from other backgrounds? And how do you balance staying connected?
I know a lot of people. I've been in Atlanta for 20, going on to 99 to now is what, 26, 27
wow,
years?
that's a long time. Yeah.
The one thing I think I've gotten good at over the years, especially becoming an entrepreneur, and even in life, even when I first came to the US to go to school in 99, was I've always liked having different types of friends. So I have Kenyan friends, or I had a lot of Kenyan friends going through college. After I got divorced, I totally cut off the entire Kenyan community from my life in 2008. Because there's a part of my divorce that the friends in my life, the Kenyan friends in my life, contributed to that.
Wow.
Oh.
So
Voila.
I shut it
okay.
down. I cut off all my friends when I got divorced, except one or two friends. Actually, yeah, except one or two friends and a few friends from college. And I started brand new. When I got into fitness in 2010, I started from scratch building a new community. Obviously, they would not be Kenyans, right? So my closest friends tend to be American. And then I have buckets of Kenyan friends. I have Kenyan friends from college. They're more like sisters, but I'm still in this no new friends era. Like at my age, I'm not trying to have a lot of new friends just to have friends. Yeah. Now, when it comes to my business, this is where I expand rapidly, knowing more people, because I'm always in working with coaches. I'm always in masterminds. I'm always meeting other online entrepreneurs who, again, will not be Kenyan, right? So the base of my friendships in the US are primarily American. Remember what I mentioned before? I love being the smallest fish in a big pond. I like aspiring to those above me because there's so many people aspiring or looking up to me. But I like being in rooms where I'm the one who's at the bottom, because then that gives me room to grow. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's actually a very interesting perspective, because you have people who are the opposite. They like being the main person in the room, and whenever you're the main person in the room, you know, like that's a problem, because you need to go somewhere where you are at the bottom, or you're average, where you can grow, which is a very good way of looking at it. What would you say are the three things that the top three things from what you see with Kenyans, especially out here in the US? You've been here for a long time. What would you say are the top three things that keep us back from just being able to go over that edge?
Staying in the village, hanging out with Kenyans, going to a Kenyan church. Everyone around you is Kenyan. Why?
Staying in the village,
Yeah,
hanging
you're
around
doing
Kenyans.
Going to a Kenyan church.
You're just staying in the same circle. So you're doing the same things every weekend with the same people, same conversation, like nothing, your life isn't progressing or moving forward.
How
When
can
I'm
you?
moving forward, I mean, like you're making small steps, but they're small, but there's a part of you that wants big steps.
So how do you get out of that cycle? You know, like if you're used to doing that, like how do you just one day go and say, "Hi, Americans, I'm here. Can we be friends?" How does that happen?
Coach.
You first could be find someone who will help you get to where you're going, or start going to other places, like go to a conference by yourself, go to a women's event by yourself, and be friendly, be open, be approachable.
Ali was banned from Kwitu. I don't think he can do that.
We're not talking about Kenyan events.
Sorry. Yeah.
You have to have the courage to step out of your
Comfort zone.
Okay.
Yeah.
you know, the prophet must leave the village. You have to leave.
Yeah.
Have to leave. I had to cut off the Kenyan community to ironically build a business that 70 to 80% whose clientele is Kenyan. How ironic is that?
But
then again, I think to my advantage, because of that, and because there was no social media until the cutoff point of mine, which was 2010, you really don't hear much about me out in the streets, the Kenyan streets. Because I'm just not there.
Okay.
I'm not there.
So get out of the Kenyan streets is one of the secrets.
Go somewhere else, start from scratch. And I'm not saying move cities, but just start making, it all starts with what do you want? If you have a clear picture of what your dream is, then start working towards asking for, I wish I had the type of friends who could show me how to ABC. And then start seeking them out, and you'll find them. I have a vision board I created in 2018, and I had a cutout of, remember Friends, the TV show?
Yes.
It was on my vision board, and I put it there, and I said, I want to find friends who love to travel, who are entrepreneurs, who meet up for amazing dinners and lunches. And literally in 10 months, I had started meeting those people. But I was clear on what I wanted, right? So it just all doesn't fall in place. There has to be a bit of intentionality. So yes, I don't have
Always
a
has to be.
wide Kenyan community as far as people who I call my real friends. I have a small, intimate group, a nice small group. I have way more friends who are African American or American, just because over the last 15 years, that's who I've spent most of my time with.
Yeah.
And not to mention the communities I'm in for business masterminds, even down to me retiring. That's a result of me working with an extremely successful wealth coach that I found on Instagram. And I followed her for 2 years. And I remember the first time I spoke to her, I wasn't making enough money for me to be my client. And then I went back to her a year ago. And she's a big part of why I'm now retired, because she's the one who helped me figure out where to invest, what deals are the best, introducing me to private equity, what it takes to invest in those deals that are not open for everybody.
Yes.
Again, consistently, I think you can see the messages. I'm no longer afraid to pay people for them to take me from point A to point B, which a lot of people are mentally not set up that way. They're only comfortable if they're taking a loan or taking money to pay for regular education. Most people don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, that is very true. And Apa Washeke is saying, boyfriends are Jane Mukami's Achilles heel.
And that's why they like, let me tell you, it's been 3 years of peace and joy and prosperity, okay?
Wow, okay. Hiyo hapo, hiyo we'll discuss huko nyuma ya tent. And then Wamahota
Kiwanja
pa,
pingi,
Yeah.
nimekata.
In Jesus' name, in Jesus' name.
Wamahota
Shetani
anasema
ashindwe.
Wamahota anasema Muturi has become the therapist now. Yeah, Muturi had become therapist hapo for a moment. And then na Wamahota anasema hapo kwa kwenda peke yangu is where I draw the line. I've always wanted to do this thing of traveling alone. I've heard about it, go to a random city and just travel alone and go. I don't know how it works, but it's something that I've wanted to try.
I'll in addition to her, I'll add one more name,
Yeah.
and you will respect Dombolo Yazolo.
What about Ndobolo?
Dombolo, Stephen Gitari Nganga.
Yeah.
If there's a guy who will pick up and just go anywhere,
Yeah.
is that guy.
Okay.
William say,
Yeah.
Maisha is today. So he'll just say, he'll tell you, go here, Google, just go.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, that's something
And
that, yeah.
You were telling us, like, if you want to go to Costa Rica, like 250 return ticket.
Yeah.
And you go, there are places you go, and they're,
Next year.
and I'm like, Allah,
next year.
Food
Next.
is 4 bob.
Yeah.
3 bob.
Everybody,
$2.
everybody should experience solo travel. It makes you, it changes you, because imagine you're showing up by yourself in a city you know nobody. That was me I left Mexico in June. I came through here for a week. I'd never been to Spain. I went to Barcelona. Never been. I was there for 2 weeks. A week later, I was in Marbella. A week. Nope, don't know anybody. Then I was in Morocco. I was in Egypt. Finally went to a place I know people, Kenya, right? When you travel by yourself, your senses are heightened because you know nobody. There's nobody to ask, oh, what was that hotel name? Also, where are we going to eat? You have to figure that shit out by yourself.
Yeah.
True that.
Makes you feel, become hyper dependent on yourself, and it forces you to talk to strangers. If not, your mouth will stink. Like, seriously. You go out to dinner you'll have the best conversation with the waiter because you're trying to find out, so what are the cool things to do around here? It helps you develop social skills like that.
Now, before the let me add before I ask a question. Jerry, remember the rugby fan?
Yes.
She does the same. If you
Jerry, the one we interviewed earlier this year. Yeah. She's from Scotland.
No.
Oh, no. You're talking about that's Tunes.
Jerry.
Yeah. Jerry. Yeah, from
Of
right
here,
here.
right
We
here.
interviewed both at
Yeah.
the same time.
She will. You'll see if you follow her on social media. She'll be sijui Amsterdam, sijui Denmark, sijui where. Then she's showing people how to go about shopping. Like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. She even shows people hacks on how to like get accommodation. Sijui hostel. I learned about hostels, by the way, from my niece Rehema. Sijui she went to Ireland. Sijui hostels. Anyway, that is one. Usually, my exposure being in Stato and being black, and then the stories that you hear out there pertaining to when you go to Europe and the treatment of blacks. I'm not talking about maybe women, maybe there's a difference between male and female, but being that you're not Jungu or whatever, is there because in the back of my mind there's always
Guys. You
Yeah.
have to experience life for yourself. Imagine the people who constantly think Kenya is a small village with mud huts because that's what they saw on TV. Come on. You can't believe what you're hearing, seeing, unless you have boots on the ground.
But I think Uno's question is the perception of a 6-foot black male.
And no,
Yeah.
no. I went to China in 2013. I didn't know anything about China. Here's the thing. We overthink everything to where we choose our brain will naturally settle for the thing that feels the safest. And most of the time that thing is the thing that's giving you all the excuses why just staying where you are is okay. We can't live incredible, interesting, adventurous lives with that type of mindset. You have to feel the edge of discomfort and the fear and the, oh my gosh, I don't know what the hell I'm doing until you do it. This is not business success, financial success, corporate. It's coming to Stato. We all came here, most of us. Well, let me speak for myself, not knowing what would happen. But we came and we figured it out.
Okay. All right.
Success coach ndio huyo hapo.
Yes.
unaongea.
Yeah. So as we get to a close, wrapping up, I think we have a caller, and
We
then
do have a caller.
Yeah, and then we're gonna get to that story of the $13,000 that disappeared, and then we'll get to wrap up. So, caller.
Thank you for calling the OneMic Show. 8056.
Welcome
A
to
name
the
and where you're
One
calling
Mic
from.
Show.
John Wangendo calling from Chicago.
Oh,
Hear me?
wait. You know you guys are under Siege over
Yeah.
there. John Magenda, you guys are under Siege from muko na National Guard
He's in
na
a
military.
bunker. He's in a bunker.
He's in a bunker.
Yes.
Okay, sawa.
Hata cancel Argentina versus, there was a soccer game. They had
Wow, really?
to take it back. Yeah, they took it to Miami because they couldn't sell tickets.
Wow.
And the way Chicago is soccer down.
Yeah, people freaked out. Yeah.
Wow.
Lakini
Okay.
mnanisikia vizuri?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and
tunakusikia,
clear.
yeah.
Talk to us.
Yeah. Oh, the only point I wanted to make is, Jane mentioned about how she cut off Kenyans, and how she was saying, like, we feel comfortable. Sometimes we feel just too comfortable amongst ourselves. Nikakumbuka, I became an artist during COVID. So I went to this hotel and I was trying to pitch my artwork. It's a Holiday Inn. And I know the owner is an Indian guy. He owns a string of Holiday Inns and restaurants. I mean, he's super rich. So he sat me down and he told me this. He told me, John, okay, you're from Kenya. When you come to America, don't feel comfortable being amongst your own people. Don't think that you can only do business with your own people. you have to venture out there. And he told me how he started with 1 hotel, 2 hotels. He didn't know anybody here. He came here like 60 years ago, before there were a lot of Indians. And he told me, the way you've come to my hotel to pitch, that's the way you're supposed to do it in America. Don't fear. This is a large market. Don't feel comfortable just doing business with your fellow Kenyans. Go out there, venture, be a risk taker. That's the word he used. Be a risk taker, and you'll succeed in this country. So, yeah, when Jane mentioned that just rang a bell for me. Yeah, to comment on that.
Okay.
I think sometimes we just feel too comfortable amongst ourselves. Tunataka to hang out weekends together. Like most of the art shows I do, truthfully, it's mostly Americans who come. It's mostly Americans who buy my artwork. Yes, I invite Kenyans. They come in 1 or 2. But if I felt like I only have to sell my artwork to Kenyans, I probably, wouldn't do business here. So, yeah. So I think we shouldn't be afraid to kuja tunakuwa too comfortable. We can always, interact with Americans, or Indians, or Chinese, or whatever. And that's how Indians have succeeded here, how the Chinese have succeeded here.
Okay. Okay, na tunaambiwa hapa na Washeke that we should have John Wangeno on the show to talk about his artistic endeavor. Yeah, so John, like up at the Kamkunji.
You know what you need to do when
Yes.
you feel like dealing with Kenyans, us. That
Yes, so we are one of that group of Kenyans that we'll have to deal with.
Yes,
because
yes,
the Kamkunji has spoken. Once the Kamkunji speaks, then we have no choice.
Oh, my goodness.
Like with Jane Mukami, the
Oh, my
Kamkunji
goodness.
spoke so many times. It took us a while,
but
we finally
four
got
years.
her.
I mean, no.
For us, it was 4 years. For Oli, it was 2 years.
2 years and
Yes.
30 minutes.
Yes, 30 minutes.
And by the way, I've been following Jane's story, Sana. One thing I like about Jane, she's open about her life, and then she's a risk taker.
Yes.
I think she does what her heart tells her to do. She doesn't listen to anybody, and I like that about her.
Okay.
Yeah.
So John, before we end, we are gonna let Jen say something to you. So hata wewe pia utasema Jen alikuongelesha. Jane Mukami, talk to John.
Okay.
By all means.
John, thank you so much for sharing, and I'm glad to hear that what I've spoken about resonated, because that's what the Indian guy told you, and it's the truth.
100%. Yeah.
Our people, we are good, and I also hope that people understand that us building our social or business circles doesn't mean we're turning our backs on each other. I remember for a long time in
100%.
Atlanta, I people would say I feel like I'm too good to hang out with Kenyans. And I remember thinking as though I was being made to feel like, I'm only good enough or cool if I hang out with Kenyans, not realizing that they don't understand why they were getting cut off in the first place, right? So we don't owe people explanations, but I think our friends and family who are Kenyan, who understand, who know us and understand our hearts, know that kila mtu hapa, we're all here tunatafuta, right? We're all here trying to make it safe. So if this weekend I'm not hanging out with you all because I went for some random conference and you happen to see on Facebook I talked about it, I don't owe you anything or an explanation to say, Polenis kukuja last week. No. We are all here to pick bits and pieces of culture and create our own blend of what works for us. And for me, I'm a Kenyan girl, I'm a Kenyan woman. I mean, my IG is fit Kenyan girl. But how can you say that I act like I'm too good to be Kenyan, yet my handle has the name Kenyan in it because I'm a proud Kenyan. I just choose the bits and pieces I've woven into my life to make me happy. It's everyone for themselves first. What makes you happy first? Watu watajisort.
Now,
that's true. That's very true.
Okay. All right, John. So thank you so much for calling. And the Kamkunji has spoken. So we'll be in touch with you tutaingia inbox and the
Ingia
Kamkunji has
inbox.
spoken. We have no
if-
choice.
no, but we respect if you don't want to holler. That's okay.
No, but the
I mean,
Kamkunji has spoken.
No.
Yeah.
No, come attack,
I mean,
it's
I can
okay.
always talk about it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
But
Yes,
and
you're
by
too.
the way, is the marathon is on this weekend, right? Chicago Marathon.
Is it this
Yeah,
weekend?
it's this weekend.
Yeah,
Tuko kesho, tunaanguka huko kesho.
yeah, and unfortunately, this
You
year
know.
the event that's normally annually was cancelled. But yeah,
Was
but
cancelled.
yes, but Chicago takuja. By the way, I always come to Chicago. There is one of the biggest. It's called ICNA, one of the biggest Muslim conferences is usually in Chicago in December time ya Christmas, because your time, that big convention center, no one is interested in it, so watu na take over your city in December. If I come, nitakuinbox nikulete nikuonyeshe pia
Is
watu
that,
wengine.
where? At the McCormick Convention
The
Center?
McCormick Convention Center,
Is it
yes.
Yeah, McCormick. Okay.
Yes, the McCormick Convention Center. So nikikuja huko December's, like
Yeah.
we normally go there. So nitakutafuta huko. Kulete, I introduce you to new people you've never met in Chicago. It's a conference that has 40,000 people from different parts of the US.
Yani unasema
Ni kama ile ya
he
Baltimore.
has 40,000 prospective clients.
Has 40,000 prospect, and it's open
Wow.
to anyone.
Wow.
Yeah.
There we go.
And it's
Yeah,
open to anyone.
that's
So yeah, so tutaongea. Thank you so much.
I think
Thank you, John.
I think Jane is inboxing you 40,000 new
yes,
people.
40,000
Yes.
New clients.
Yes.
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 And Jane was calmly sitting.
Jen is
Yeah.
like, ate,
Okay, thanks.
Yes.
Thank you, John.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Sawa, sawa.
Asante.
Yeah, asante sana John. Like very interesting conversation from John. Na hapa Kelly Ochieng is tuned in. Anasema
Ala.
one mic niwekeni kama guest kwa hii show soon.
Kels.
Kelly, we badala ya utuambie kuhusu Jane Mukami, like how she's inspired you.
Yes.
Unasema tukuweke kwa hii show soon.
Yeah,
Tell us what you got from the show kwanza.
Yeah, surely. Can you inspire us?
Yeah.
I missed that.
I mean,
Where was that? Oh, that was on YouTube.
And then Luis Muya anasema, I disagree about the Kenyan community issue. Some of the best and the worst people I've met here are Kenyans. This is her personal experience. I'd say get away from people who are close-minded or who don't challenge you to grow. Your community can be your biggest downfall or your strongest pillar. Diversify your personal and professional relationship,
100.
not cut off a whole community. Okay, all right. Some wisdom there coming from Luis Muya. Wabahot anasema, so true. When I needed barua for immigration from church way back, all Kenyan pastors refused to write for me. I ended up getting one from a Mzungu pastor who knew nothing about me. That's another.
What?
And then
Jesus is
the other
Lord.
thing I'd like to say, especially based on business, I've tried a couple of different ideas. One important thing people need to understand: if you're doing business in America, there are those numbers that Kenyans like exaggerating of how many Kenyans are in America. We are very few in the grander scheme of this country. There's a maximum of maybe 300,000 Kenyans in the US. So if you're starting a business and you're saying you're only going to target Kenyans, guess who you're going to target? You're only going to target those 300,000 people in a country that has 330 million people. That I don't even know what that number looks like. It's a 0.000 something percent. It's a very, very tiny number. So if you're living, it's one thing if you're living in Kenya, but if you're living in America, you're starting a business, you have to be strategic. Like we all work for companies that are businesses that once started as small businesses. They never targeted only this group or that group. So I think that's the one thing that people need to open up their minds to. And I like what Jen said, you're not turning your back on your community.
No, you're not.
Because Jen is, is very involved. We've met in Vegas, she's not someone that I would say, and I can understand, when people start saying stuff like, she doesn't want to hang out with us nowadays. I can understand where sometimes people
That
come
is
from with those-
misreading the tea leaves.
yeah, where people come from with those comments, but there are times when you just need to step aside and focus and concentrate on doing, exactly what you need to do. Another good place to go, just to meet people, is stadiums. Like this weekend, our workplace gave us tickets to go watch DC United at Audi Field.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and you know, when you go to a soccer game, you meet a very interesting crowd there.
Yeah.
Very different.
I'll say this, Ali. It's just a random observation. How many times have you been asked or commissioned to MC an event?
Multiple times.
Kenyan?
Or Kenyan event.
Yes.
Yes, and
are they willing to pay?
No, there's usually no budget for that.
Okay, so
Forget about even
again. I'm talking about simple steps.
Forget about, you know, like emceeing, even live streaming, like at Kilimanjaro, how we, you know, like we do, Bandio does live stream events sometimes. People sometimes, you know, like they will pay, you know, like for a DJ, they will pay for other things, but use live streaming. You're supposed to come out of
pocket
patriotism.
Not even that.
Yeah.
Because me, I know this. Almost over here, DJ akona equipment. Minimum before the equipment leaves the house, there's a certain
amount, yeah.
Yeah, you know, and whatever. And you'll find somebody negotiating maybe like 300, 200, whatever. They could probably pay for that. But for the person who might make the event, who might be the MC who's going to run the program.
Yeah. And you know, I never wanted to say this. Remember, there was a top politician who came here. We are not going to mention his name.
Yeah.
And there's a group that wanted us to go out of town and interview him.
On our own dime.
On our own dime to give us exposure.
Exposure.
Yeah, and I was like,
but and I'm sure Jen has been told that exposure.
Yeah. Go on. You didn't want to be
exposed. But I can tell you this. If it was a Niger, I am hypothetically going to say this. He would have been flown out there and accommodated nicely.
In a group with
and I have seen that.
I have take less than $1,000.
I had been sourced to do whatever. They went with that. And they paid more. Me, I was asking him for less. I was asking for 500. The guys they paid him 1,500.
Yeah, but anyway, that's besides the point.
Anyway, this is part of what Jane was talking about. Like sometimes the challenges of just stepping out of your own community, but sometimes support even from within becomes a problem.
Yeah, but now let's begin wrapping up because Jane also has to take some time. Bado akona jet lag.
Jet lag imemchapa left, right, and center.
Yeah, so
you've decided silali leo.
No.
Saskia sasa. Unasikia?
It's taken Mexico ama yuko Bermuda.
It's taken 2 years and 30 minutes. So we don't know
4 years
whether it's
for
gonna
some
take,
of us. For you, it's 2 years.
No, it's 2 years. I would say from when she committed that she's gonna come to the show, but now to be able to get to this date, it's taken 2 years and 30 minutes.
As me and Omosha, it's 4 years and 30 minutes.
Okay,
Kanyo.
But now you've always advocated for limiting your markets where you live and spreading out and taking advantage of even, you know, like markets like people who live in Kenya where you can get clients, you know, like outside your comfort zone. A few months back, however, you got a shocking wake-up call on realizing that 1.6 million shillings, $13,000 had been wiped off your Equity Bank account with no trace. Me, first of all, let me say this. Forget about 13,000. If I went to my bank account and I found 1,300 missing with no explanation, I think I would get a heart attack. But this was 30,000. Now, just briefly tell us about that experience and how 1.6 million shillings just vanishes from an account.
You did a Houdini.
Okay, so a year ago, I moved to Mexico. It wasn't a move. I was just going for the winter, October to March. But then we got a new president in November. Things here were not looking and feeling good. I'm in Atlanta, by the way. And I decided, I don't know if I want to go back to the US. So let me camp out in Mexico. That's where I've been since October last year until June when I left to travel for 3 months. So during Easter weekend, me and some African-American friends of mine who we all met in Atlanta and were friends here, and some of us have moved to different parts of Mexico. We met up in Mexico City for the weekend. And when I came back to Tulum, Mexico, when I came back to my second home. A week and a half later, I logged onto my account and I'm like, what? What are all
Zero.
these transactions?
Ah.
There was flights to Singapore, Singapore
What?
Air, Emirates. There are all these transactions from my Equity bank account.
You are big pimping.
So I'm like, wait a minute, my debit card is here. I haven't, and
Charged
shopping
it.
online. I'm not the one who's done these transactions. And these transactions started when I was in Mexico City with my friends. So I texted my Equity account manager. I'm like, something's wrong. Please block my card. There are all these many transactions. It's not me. I have my card. Here's a picture of it. First block the card and then tell me what we need to do. So then he tells me the process, fill out this paperwork, take the statement, highlight all the transactions that are not done by you. And I highlighted them and they came up to the 1.6 million.
Wow.
Opened a claim. So in about a week, card was blocked. I did all the paperwork. In about a week, I'd submitted everything. And then he told me, they've said everything. There'll be an update in 30 days. May, I'm like, hey, what's the update? Oh, they've said they need 2 more months.
What?
So
Atiatia.
who is
Hey.
they? Is it like a committee or it's the...
So this is the claims department.
Okay.
So
Jeez.
no, it was a month and then give them another month. So I'm following up and he's like, they're not telling me anything. There's no progress. They'll let us know when there's an update, I'll let you know. So that's April, May, June, July. So July, my parents were going to Kenya. So as soon as my mom got to Kenya, I hadn't even told them because I didn't want them freaking out. I'm like, Mom, do you know someone in Equity? I have a case. So I sent the case number and she sent it to a friend of hers and $4,000 was released immediately.
Out of the blue.
I'm like, okay, I just saw a $4,000, whatever that is in shillings. I just saw a credit, a lump sum coming to my bank account. Can you ask your friend? A week later, I'm like, can you ask your friend when the rest is coming? And then it hit a wall again.
Silence.
6 weeks later, I'm in Kenya. So as soon as I get to Kenya, I'm asking my mom, before you go back to the US, can you introduce me to your friend so I can find out what's going on with the money? She's like, actually, I spoke to her yesterday. There's no update. So at that point, I was irritated because it had been April
Through July.
now this is
August.
mid-August when I'm in Kenya.
Wow.
So I put the post on social media. I'm like, this money disappeared from my account. Equity, there's no update, like what's going on. And that's the post that went
And
viral.
you tagged them.
And I didn't even tag them. I just wrote, it was a post and I wrote my story in the comments. Which
Yeah.
Okay.
But
right?
people in the comments started tagging them.
So people in the comments started
Yes.
saying, me too, this happened to me, that happened, started tagging them. And guys, this is the power of social media, right? If I didn't have an audience, would that have happened?
No. They would have given you another 2 months.
Right. So I posted it on an evening. When I woke up in the morning, I had 4 people in my DM who sent me Dr. James Mwangi's cell phone number.
Wow.
They're like, hey, I know Dr. James is his number, call him. So as soon as I woke up, at about 8 a.m., I called, no answer. I sent him a text. I was very respectful. I explained my case. And within 2 minutes, he texts me back and he said, hey, here's a number, call this guy. He's going to sort you out. After he texts me, I got a call from Equity asking me to take down the post. They're like, hey, we're handling the issue. Please take down the post. We're looking into it. Actually, this was even before Dr. James responded. I'm like, no, I'll take it down when you give me back my money.
Correct.
So then I call the guy. Actually, the guy calls me and he's like, hey, Dr. James asked me to call you. What's your issue? I give him the case number and he calls me back. He's like, okay, so what's happening is when your card is used to make online transactions, we have to contact all those merchants individually Then we have to wait for them to release the money to us for us to release the money to you.
Nonsense, but okay.
And that process takes 2 to 3 months. And I'm like, but wait a minute. What do you mean? I have to wait until you carry out your internal processes. As a customer, I should not be feeling any of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You should be absorbing the risk.
Mm-hmm.
You should be releasing the money to me from your own accounts, and you receive the money from the merchants individually as credits back to yourself.
Correct.
I do not have to be sitting waiting, asking, oh, there were 42 transactions. We have 30 more to go. Which one? No, I cannot do that. So his thing was, we're gonna work around this for you. And literally in less than 24 hours, all the money was back in my account.
So quick question for you before you say anything else. Do Kenyan accounts like yours have like an insurance and like the way we have the FDIC insurance here for our accounts? Do Kenyan accounts have that? And if so, what is the limit, if you know?
I don't even know. But what I do know is I had another case with Equity 6 years ago, where somebody from the UK, I think, hacked into my email and sent an email as me asking them to wire to their account $5,000, and they did.
Oh, wow.
And when I told the bank, guys, that's not me. Like, this is a bank account in the UK. Why would I ask you to send me money in the UK when you know I live in the US? I remember that case. In less than 2 days, they had given me back the money while their security team followed up on it.
Okay.
No, but yeah.
So this time it'd been a credit card issue. I remember going back, and the guy I was talking to is his name is Naftali. He's the security head at Equity. He was kind of explaining the process to me. And anyway, to make a long story short, it's that money disappeared from my bank account in the form of transactions I didn't carry out, but I was then getting a status or an update. That's why I went on social media. Then what infuriated me even more is that I got my money back because I made noise.
And you knew somebody.
Not because a process was followed.
Yeah.
But let me ask.
Yeah. No. Before you go there,
Sorry,
the question that Omosh had asked
At this rate, I don't think there's like an FDIC.
So there is in Kenya. It's called KDIC. Yeah, it's called KDIC, but that has nothing to do with unauthorized transactions. So that has something to do with if a bank goes down. You know, like if a bank goes down, your money is protected. Up to X. I think in the US it's up to $250,000.
It's more.
In Kenya, believe it or not, it is only up to $1 million. So if a bank, yes, it's only up to 1 million shillings. So if a bank goes down, they're only compelled to pay you up to $1 million. So I think that's something very important that anyone with a Kenyan bank account needs to know. And yes, in Kenya, banks do go down. There was Premier Bank. There's multiple banks that have gone down. Yeah. So when a bank goes down, what it basically means, because banks, when they absorb deposits, they're only required to keep, I think, about 10%. They can give out the rest in loans. That's just how banks are actually, they're legal Ponzi schemes, you know, for lack of a better word. So if a bank has 100 billion shillings, the central bank only requires them to keep about 10 billion. The rest, they can give it out in loans. That's how banks make their money. But remember how Silicon Valley Bank in the West Coast went down? It's because now when the depositors, when they all come at the same time, you know, you have 100 billion in deposits, Metro 90 billion in loans, and all the depositors come at one time and they say, hello, we want our money. So so that's what makes a bank go down. That's when FDIC takes over. In Kenya, KDIC. So in Kenya, you need to understand, if you have to keep more than 1 million shillings in Kenya, spread it across banks. Do it in a different bank. So your 1.6 million.
So it's not per deposit. It's per. Is it per bank per deposit? Meaning if I have several accounts in the same bank?
No,
or
it is
it's-
per. I want to say it is per individual. It is not per account.
Okay.
It is not per account. So you cannot open 5 accounts. So you can open 1 account. And the good thing is that when you spread it across, it's very unlikely. I mean, unless you're just an unlucky person, that the 2 banks or the 5 banks that you have your money in all go down at the same time. Maybe one might go down. Your 1 million is covered. So that's one thing that Kenyans, and that 1 million iliongezwa majuzi, it used to be 100K. Believe it or not, it used to be 100K.
I think they added it after one of these banks failed.
After one of the banks, after one of the banks went down.
Way after Premier.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that's something very important to know, especially people who do a lot of business in Kenya, like yourself, Jane Mukami. It is very, very important to know that in case, Equity is a very stable bank, but just in case of anything, it is important to know that, when it goes down, like Amalinze the cat, anything above 1 million, the bank is not obligated to give you back that money. So I think that's the one big thing.
That is extremely sad.
Yes. Now the other insurance that we have here in the US, which I think is with the Visas and the MasterCards, like if in case of any unauthorized transaction,
it's immediate.
Yeah, it's immediate. It's insured. If you did not do the transaction, you'll get, that's a different kind of insurance. Remember, Visa and MasterCard make a lot of money when you swipe.
Fees. Yeah.
And most people don't know because they don't get charged a fee, but the businesses are the ones that pay that fee. And basically that fee is in the price of your product. I'm sure Jane Mukami is familiar with this. She charges people, so she knows there's a fee that the business pays for that. So within that, there's some kind of insurance in case of an authorized transaction, then that is taken care of. Now, what I also know about Kenyan bank accounts is that some of the accounts that are dormant, and maybe Jane, you can tell us about yours. Accounts that are dormant, in Kenya, there's something called a dormant account. In fact, if you do not transact, I think it's within 6 months.
And it depends on the bank.
They deem it a dormant account.
6 months to a year, and depends on the bank manager and whether they, and probably how things are going.
So you have to do something, otherwise it will be deemed a dormant account.
You
and
have
this
to
dormant
make
account
a deposit or a withdrawal
are the ones that get targeted. So Jen, I don't know whether your account was dormant or if you had been using it.
No, my account was not dormant at all.
Okay, so clearly you are targeted.
Yeah, somebody had just gotten the number.
Yeah.
I think what I chalked it up to is when I was in Mexico City, I remember using my card at a coffee shop. And Mexico City is like New York, where someone's PDQ machine could have a duplicating thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened. Someone literally copied my info, then took it and went and just got online and started transacting. And then the other thing that Equity messed up on was they turned off my text notification.
So when did they turn it off? Did they turn it off?
So this happened last year in February, because I'd opened a USD account with them and they wanted me to fill out the FATCA forms.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So I had delayed in sending them by a month, so I sent them in February. So I think during the period by which I delayed, they turned off my texts. But when I sent the FATCA forms in February, apparently they didn't turn my texts back on. So in April, when I was asking, but how did I get, why is it that I wasn't getting dinged on text message for me to catch the transaction sooner?
Yes.
And they're like, well, your notifications are turned off. I'm like, why? Because you didn't submit this thing. And I'm like, here's an email. I submitted this in February. We're now in July.
But wait a minute. But even if you did not submit, what does the text notification have to do?
They're trying to be, what is it called? Punitive.
No, kifua.
They're trying to be punitive. It's because they're telling you to do something and you're not doing it.
Yeah, because my NCBA account, if I do any transaction, bam, you get a text right there and then, which is a good check and balance.
Yeah. So anyway, I kind of leveraged that, saying because of your admins not updating the system, that I submitted the paperwork in February and you stupidly turned off my text, I need you to resolve my issue ASAP.
So now, what is it that you've learned? Like especially with your Kenyan bank accounts, and maybe your clients who are looking to do like business in Kenya. What is it that you tell them? Because I think you see, like even this KDIC thing, most people, I will tell you for a fact, they do not know.
I didn't know about the KDIC. I assumed if anything happened and there was X million, I would get my X million back. But what you telling me?
Yes, no. I know people who've lost money. Like in some of these phantom banks that fell apart. So and it's gone. Like imepotea, imeenda, it's gone.
Imeenda kabisa.
Yeah.
At that point, there's no sending calling Dr. Mwangi or sending a text.
Yes,
it's a wrap.
Because it's a wrap. Like
So,
Dantoro.
Do we think that not keeping money, as we've always known, we don't need to be keeping large sums of money in the bank? Maybe we need to keep them in investments.
There you go.
What are safe investments at this
Mattress.
point? Is it the like the money markets? Is it
So that I think that's something that we need to do an episode on, especially on money that you have in Kenya. In Kenya, they have these things called special funds that have been giving very good returns. However, people need to be careful of those special funds, and I think they also have what are called unit trusts. The unit trusts have also been returning, well. But one thing that people are not paying attention to, those high returns are based on a very high amount of bonds that are being stacked in there. Right now, Kenya is dishing out bonds at a very high rate. It's both a good and a bad thing. I know people get excited when they see those high rates, but they need to learn from other countries in Africa that did what Kenya did, what they're currently going through. And guess what's happening in a country like Ghana, where they did the same thing that Kenya was doing. Because they're looking to raise more money, they were giving higher interest rates. So it got to a point where they did not have enough money to pay out this interest. So what happens is they tell you, hey, JANE MUKAMI, you gave us 10 million shillings and we promised you 18%, but now because there's no money to pay it, we can actually pay you back in fact, even the principal. First of all, you might get a haircut in the interest that you get. It might be cut the full amount, and sometimes you might get a haircut on the principal. They'll be like, you gave us 10 million, but you can take this 6 million back, and we call it a deal. That's what happens when the government can no longer meet those obligations. And where the Kenyan government is going right now, out of every 100 shillings that's collected, 70 bob is going towards debt payment, and it's going up. It's gonna get to 80 bob because our expenditure is growing, and we are basically robbing Peter to pay Paul. We are getting new debts to pay off old debts. So that is one thing that people
I think it's
need
more
to
like
understand.
you're robbing Peter to rob Paul.
You're robbing Peter to rob Paul.
With
something
this
like that.
with this route.
So that's where people have to be careful about these unit trusts. There's a bank called Standard Investment Bank that has a fund called Mansa X. I was particularly attracted to Mansa X because it's one of the few that has a halal fund. Because Sisi Muslims, we have our own little issues, like with interest. So we like looking at funds that do not have interest, and they have a halal version that does not have any interest, and they have a standard version. Mansa X has also been giving some good returns. So those are some options that you can look into if you want your money to grow in Kenya. And some of those funds have been returning like 19%. I know some of the special funds, like there's one called something Oak that returned, I think, about 45%. So people are getting some good returns. Yeah. With those, that's better than keeping your 5 million and then a bank falls apart and then they're telling you, kwa 5 million, kula your 1 million na utosheke. Yeah.
That is so sad. Now imagine this is us talking about all this information sitting in the US. What about people who are literally in Kenya and have no choice but to be stuck with that type of banking system?
Yes. So and that right there is, and a lot of people don't even know that are they in that situation. Someone might have their life savings in a bank, not knowing that if this situation happens, then I'm out. But that's where we have to educate ourselves. The good thing with Kenya, in Kenya now people have access to international capital markets. So they can buy, like there's ways of being able to buy the S&P 500 if that's where you want to invest. There's ways of, like investing. You can now invest in stocks in South Africa. NSE has also been doing some upgrades. And there's a South African company that has come in. So now Kenyans can start investing in South Africa. That's another thing that I want us to talk about, Jane. Like opportunities for investment in Africa. There are multiple. There are so many. And people just don't talk about them a lot. And the capital markets are now opening up. Because now South Africans can invest in the Kenyan stock market and vice versa. And Kenyans can invest in the South African stock market. So these are things that we need to, like take a broad look at, especially those of us who prefer, like these kinds of investments rather than the entrepreneur. And what you said is very true. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. And I think people need to come along. I would rather give JANE MUKAMI the money. I know JANE MUKAMI is very good at this. I'd rather we go into an equity agreement. You go do the business, and whatever profit we get, we share it at an agreed upon level. I'm that kind of person. But then there are those people who are very good at going and grinding and making the money, like yourself. So I think it's also important to know about personality. Mike, is there anything Wahenga saying?
Wahenga walinena kilicho na mwanzo hakina budi kuwa na mwisho. Meli imetia nanga. We are about to wrap this puppy up, seeing as that JANE MUKAMI akona jet lag ile mbaya, lakini Mikaochi is not over.
Yuko wapi? Yuko Tulum ama kutoka Tulum?
I think she's in a secret location. She's not revealing her real location because I'm looking at the background. I'm trying to see if there's something written in Mexican, in Spanish.
Let us just, all we know is that ako pahali panaitwa Atlanta, Georgia. But that's it.
Yeah,
it could be a pseudo like Washeke Dirango.
So she's not in Tulum?
She could be in a morning, that place, that what's her name? Ile Ferrari nama Monaco anaweza kwa Monaco. Anaweza kwa Monaco.
Hapo unajua unaweza peleka do na watu wa equity hata.
Wacha tupatia final words, parting shots Alia, so that she can go, we can let her go.
Yeah, no. Wacha tuanze na Omosh and then tutakuja kwa Jane.
Omosh that is fire.
Jane, thank you so much for breaking it all down to us, giving us the knowledge and the gems, and I think even our audience, we got quite a bit of engagement. I know a lot of them were writing. They didn't call, but a lot of them were writing. We had like a ton of comments, things we didn't mention, we didn't say.
We know those guys are just sort of taking notes.
But yes. Kuna wale wanachukua notes. Unaja wale wataingia kwa ile class. And hopefully they had what Ali had said about October na wawache, what was it? They get first-hand information to get in
yeah,
October.
exclusive. Yeah, Jen will tell us about it.
And if you leave a comment, what was the comment you need?
Waitlist. Yeah.
Yes. So you still have like 1.2 minutes before we shut this live down. So you may want to work our waitlist. But Jane, thank you. We are very familiar with the A. So have fun, enjoy the weather, and maybe one day now you'll come back and tell us about retirement in a country that is not Kenya. Ndio pia sisi tujue kama we need to take our jaba to Mexico or we need to take it to Portugal. Na watu siku hizi wanaenda Portugal pia. So Estonia pia iko kwa list yangu.
Yeah. So, rugby, by the way, next year is in Europe. The legs where Kenya will beat kwa France and Spain. So mwanze kujipanga.
Next year is a sporting nini. We'll go World Cup. We'll do all of those things. Kwanza ile RV iko ready.
Those RVs are expensive, but we're gonna get a loan from Jen.
But we know Jen.
Yeah, because it's a quick deal. We're gonna get a quick deal loan from her.
This is
quickly, easy money.
Easy.
Then we're gonna double it, and then we're gonna give her back.
Before you know it, we'll be in Monaco.
Yes, there we go.
Man,
easy money.
Thank you very much, Jane. We shall see our audience next week and enjoy. And you've been umejaribu. Thanks, people.
Yeah, we took back our 30 minutes. She took it away from us, but we took it back. Yeah.
No. This is just this is not even interest. This is just a little bit, but
Ali.
okay.
Yeah. So, Jane Mukami, give us your parting shot.
Happy to have finally made it here 2 years later according to Ali and everyone
Oh,
else.
thank you.
It's all about sharing, motivating, inspiring, and hoping that whoever it is that gets to watch this gets a nugget that will hopefully change their lives. That's what it's all about. Thank you guys, and hopefully next time I'm in DC, tutaonana.
Okay, and that October exclusive, just talk about it one more time.
And later this month, I'll be hosting a special workshop for coaches who want to learn the ins and outs of social media to grow your coaching business. I am now at a point in my life where I feel I've worked hard, I've done the thing, and it's time to support others and help them succeed and do the same. So if you're interested in coming to this session, I've shared the link with the guys in the chat. You can find me on my social media platforms. The link is in the bio. You can join the waitlist and sit tight as I get ready to send out the emails to you in the next week or so.
Are the members of the OneMic Show eligible for the boy child exception?
Anybody can come to this one. This one is not for women only.
Okay. So this one is, so the boy child exception
For
is
everyone.
open.
Everyone can make money.
Okay.
Yes.
Sawa. All right. Jane Mukami, thank you so much. We do not take this for granted. We know your time is very valuable. And choosing to be with us on a Friday night when you could be anywhere else doing anything in any part of the world, we really appreciate this. You are one of those demands that came from the Kamkunji. When the Kamkunji speaks, we have to act. It's been years. People have been asking for this. So I'm sure there's a lot of different nuggets that people were able to get. And there's so many things about Jane Mukami, and of course we could not cover everything. You've actually had the opportunity of living in a whole other different country now outside the US, like in Mexico. I know people brag that they've gone for a weekend in Cancun. You literally went and stayed there for a couple of months, in your own pace. You've been traveling. You've inspired so many people, and it is so amazing to know that all these times, all these years that we're thinking, hey, Jane Mukami is a big deal, that there were some very tragic issues that you are going through. If not, those that we know publicly, like the death by suicide of your brother, then there are those ones that we don't know, like bankruptcy. I mean, that's such a big deal. And then there's the issue of these people that you are happy to give money, then they would choose just not to pay you back. Hiyo hapo, I think tutaongea. We'll have to give you some coaching on how not to do that the next.
And free kwanza.
Yeah, we'll have to do some. I don't know about free.
To read the signs.
Yeah.
This one.
Yes.
This one is to read the signs.
Yes, but we really appreciate this. This was so amazing, and of course, we will keep continuing these conversations. Talking about my biggest thing is passive investments where you can go into partnerships like the way you're going into private equity right now, where you're putting your money, you're putting your faith. There's some people who are working on something, and then you just get some profits and you get, equity in case the equity goes up, you get more money. I think this is one other way, for people who are not very blessed in the grind that entrepreneurship takes, because entrepreneurship is very rewarding, but it is not easy. I can tell you it is not an easy thing. I work for a company where I'm in constant contact with the owner of the company, with the CEO, and I can tell you, it's almost a 7-day a week affair for him. Even when he's on vacation, he will just randomly text me, and ask me, what's going on, what's happening here. So I know it's totally not an easy thing. So once again, Jen, asante sana. Na kwa wale ambao wanataka kunipigia simu, nambari yangu bado ni ile 1-800 mteule. Na operator akishika simu, mwambie unataka kusema na mjukuu. Na akikuuliza ni mjukuu yupi, mkumbushe ni mjukuu yule wa Masai. Because I'm Kenyan by blood, American by design, Masai by choice. sichagui, sikagui na sibagui. Kwaherini.
Aiden, Daddy loves you. Njeri, Daddy loves you. Nemo, Daddy loves you. Until next week, be blessed.
Bouncing. Bouncing baby boy. Shot kwanza inaniongezanga depression, ya pili ndo sasa inanipunguzia stress. Shot ya tatu inafanya na miss X, ya nne inanionyesha alikuwa mjinga sim. Bouncing baby boy. Shot ya kwanza inaniongezanga depression, ya pili ndo sasa inanipunguzia stress. Shot ya tatu inafanya na miss X, ya nne inanionyesha alikuwa mjinga.